Bonjour, bonjour. Hey, Brad, you in?
Brad at?
Where the bread at? I don't know.
Say no party without the Brad.
He sent me 3 DM messages. Was a guy? Yeah, we're good. Still having a brekkie. We're doing this early. It's the normal 9 p.m. UTC. So yeah, we're gonna get. So, how are you doing, though, man? Okay.
That's fine. I had a little power nap. Sleep is weird to me these days. Like, what is that? Sleep?
Sleep, yeah. I'm a light sleeper myself. I'll get 4, 5, maybe 4.5, 5 hours out of me. That's it. Don't do it. There's too much to do.
I mean, yeah, these days it's crazy. I can imagine all the hats you're wearing as well.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's fun. Running the agency and then dancing around, having fun. So, I just want to be absorbed and doing more and more creative stuff. So, it's exciting space to be in. But yeah, all good. But how long have you been in crypto? How long have you been?
I bought my first crypto in August before the bubble burst.
Nice. Truth be told, probably similar to me. So I've been 6 months. 6 months in. It's
feels like 5 years already.
Hey.
Feels like 5 years already.
Yeah, those eyes have aged in a very short amount of time. But yeah,
I told one of my friends I'm getting into this and I'm going for broke. I don't know if that translates, but the meaning is I'm going all fucking in and I don't give a shit if it destroys me. I'm gonna either fucking make it or I'm gonna get wrecked.
Well, there's a lot out there to sort of trip you up, See, there's a lot of stuff that can trip you up. I'm glad we found this. I'm glad I found this space. Really, I was introduced by a good friend of mine to the Reflect project. So, and then he disappeared. He walked away.
That's funny.
Yeah. All good. I think Damo's still chatting on the Telegram chat. Is he in chat space? He's still yapping away in chat space.
I feel like I missed something interesting earlier.
In what?
Somebody I don't tried to tag me in, but I feel like I have to reset my entire Telegram.
Yeah. There's a lot going on. There's what's one more channel to be added to?
Sure, it doesn't much matter. It's just it's funny to me, like and humbling that at one point I can be negotiating a trade deal that potentially one day can bear fruit of $1 millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. And another point of the day, I'm teaching somebody how to set up their MetaMask. It just doesn't matter. Everybody needs the help they need.
Oh,
Yeah.
you guys.
How you doing?
What's up?
Hey guys, what's up? I really like the look of this thread.
Hello guys, I'm about to get the team live. Streamer mode enabled, nice. And talk people? Friends?
Talk people. Hello.
There we go. There we
people
go.
talking.
We got it. We got it.
We're live.
Oh my goodness. It's the real deal. Welcome to the big show.
I'm just getting the.
What's up?
Oh, that's not it. Where's the other Discord? That's not it. And there it is. Hey yo. All right. Yeah, perfect. Right, we are live and kicking, and we've got yeah. What did you say, Damo? What did you guys talk about without realizing you guys are live? I'll be able to look back if you talked about me.
How much of a mess this whole thing is going to be? No.
Sweet. How's chat going?
It's good. It's good. This should be fun, man. There's been some huge evolution in our ecosystem over the last few weeks. And we've been recognizing that a lot of it has been happening outside of the public threads. So, it might look a little quiet over the last few days in the public channels, but it's hilarious how different it is in the back channels.
My God.
It's crazy. I mean, one of the big things we want to talk about this week is how we've gone from 15 volunteers to 50 in the last 2 weeks. And all that implies for our capacity and the strength of this community and what we're capable of, but also the work it's going to take to get everybody feeling at home, feeling supported and empowered into positions that they're good at and enjoy. So really just a total paradigm shift in the whole ecosystem that we're really stoked to talk about this week.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all mostly thanks to Mouse too. We've had most of these people were already in the community and sort of have stepped up here and there and shown themselves to be bright and dedicated and seeing the big picture here. But we needed someone like Mouse who could really put in the proper organization, like real organization, Trellos and spreadsheets and tracking and stuff, to sort it all out and get people lined up and working together. You really, you couldn't put a dollar amount on it. It's just incredible. Mouse, what
well, firstly,
yeah.
just for because like this is the first time you guys hosting, I want to just give everyone just to realize that this is just us just doing something new, and we're going to get you guys the host. We want a few more faces actually seen on the stream rather than just me and Mouse and Mouse just sucking on a cigar or something like that. So we firstly just to let you guys know, we like to have a bit of Twitch etiquette in terms of when stream etiquette, like acknowledge we've got 28 people here. Welcome. It's really good to have you. Thank you so much for spending time with us. And just throughout the whole show, is it a show? Yeah, I guess so. Who knows? Please be just like commenting, just putting asking questions in the chat. We really want this just to be a live and open conversation where you guys ask questions to what we're directly talking about. And I think the first thing that we should do is just introduce ourselves and who we are. And to my left, this is Andrew. If anyone hasn't seen his face, do you want to introduce yourself, mate?
Yeah, man. Hello. It's new to having my face on camera and all this, but usually I'm stuck in a Mac doing some graphics and thrashing them out for you all. So I thought I'd show my face and let you all hear my weird accent. I'm from Little Old Wales in the UK, and I'm really excited to be here, and awesome to be working with you a lot. It's been a good couple of months, and this is a new thing, so it's exciting.
Andrew is such a gem. I can't even begin to describe how much of an asset he's been to our crew. Jumped in pretty early and just has been rocking it the whole time, just happily joining us. And he's got like a full-time gig with an agency doing branding work and all sorts of amazing stuff. And he comes and hangs out with us every single day, helping us push the ball forward. Has never asked for a thing in return. It's just amazing. And he's just one example of the type of people and the type of caliber that our community has attracted over the last few months.
So that's Andrew. I am Brad. I'm just another volunteer, just spinning up accounts and just part of the cogs all trying to make this thing happen. I happen to be the producer on this thing, but I'll actually have a chance to talk about a new part of the ecosystem ashore with Chapo. Chapo's also here as well. He's just popped in. Yeah, so that's me. I'm Brad. Damo to my right.
Right on. What's up, everybody? This is Damo to the center. I have been in RFI since day zero. I've actually been working with Morpheus projects since about a week after we launched the one before that. I've been in crypto since 2013 technically, but really I've been following since the Satoshi paper. I have a marketing and a grassroots organizing background. I'm all about community projects, so I'm so excited with the paradigm shift we're going through right now of really leaning into community projects and sort of the capacity in the organization we've got going here. I think it'll really play to a lot of our strengths. And I'm stoked to bring everything, all of my experience and all of my network to bear on that. So stoked to be here helping to talk that out with you guys in a bit of a conversational format here today.
Awesome. And we have Mouse over the further right. Are we calling you by your real name or not really?
You may. Eddie works just fine.
Wait, Mouse isn't your real name?
My mother wouldn't have done that to me.
And how do you fit into the picture?
I found myself here. I'm not going to say Chapo gave me financial advice, but he quite literally told me I should absolutely buy RFI. And I say, I usually don't listen to influencers at all, but I go back over several projects where we worked quite closely together, and those were some good times, and those were some hurdles that we overcame. So I quite enjoyed working and making the progress that we were able to. So I didn't want to miss out on building something great with them again. And after you guys let me in, it's just steamrolled from there. It's been quite the experience, and I think we'll get more into that here shortly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Glad to be here.
And El Chapo, do you want to just perk up and say hello?
Sure. What's up, guys? Chapo here. Active community member. Some considered me a leader, but I'm trying to let the community have a whole bunch of leaders now, which is awesome. Mouse is helping me do that. Working with Brad on this whole Assure venture, which we're pretty excited about. And it's awesome to have Mouse back on staff here. He's a guy that has always brought a lot of value anytime that we've worked together. So he's kicking ass pretty much 24/7 right now for us, organizing, empowering some people, and getting shit done. So it's great to have him here. And I'm also excited to finally, for one of these weekly reflections, be able to just kind of go on mute and let some other people take the reins. So this is fun for me. I might go get a beer right now and crack one.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Do it.
And lastly, can we welcome Kash, the man himself? Can you just perk up and say hello? Oh, it looks like he's getting video on.
Oh, sorry.
Hey,
Sorry, guys.
No, bring it on, man. Let's see that mug.
How you doing, boys? How's
Good.
everyone doing? So I'm, like I said to Damo and the boys earlier, I have a few commitments tonight, so I'm running around in the background, still ready to go out. Only just got back from the office. But give me the cue when you want me to pipe in, and I'll do my bit and
awesome.
let you guys manage today's. Like Chapo said, I might get something to eat in the background whilst you guys are talking. But I'm going to go out in about 20 minutes. Okay.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and cue you up here in just a second and let you say your piece so that we don't hold you up.
Perfect.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. We'll get to you in just a minute.
Awesome. That's us. I'll hand it over to you guys.
All right, cool. So there's a lot going on in our ecosystem lately. Obviously, one of the bigger opportunities we have is in simplifying the message of our ecosystem. We have 2 going on 3 tokens. We've got staking contracts. We've got all sorts of financial products and instruments coming online, and we get to really simplify that under a unified brand for people. And one of the more interesting ones, but one of the more complex, is Enreach, which is the first It's the first venture, the first really big project that has seen the value in RFI and LE and has chosen to integrate it into the center of its business model, which is huge because Enreach is aiming to connect traditional finance with DeFi, like to really cross the blood-brain barrier, which is something that it seems like this bull run is working towards, that will actually get some of that big action. But it's been interesting trying to simplify and explain what Enreach is for those of you who have been following along with RFI and then LE. It's a lot of pieces. For instance, Assure, the KYC platform that Chapo and Brad are working on, are coming from infrastructure that Enreach has built. And they built that specifically to launch their own project, and then found that with a few tweaks, it could be white labeled for anyone to use. So Assure, being a KYC platform, is actually the first piece of a whole launch pad that we'll be launching in the RFI ecosystem. And I will leave most of that to be talked about by Chapo and Brad, but I want to just say a few things about that to then bring Enreach, to bring Kash in here to give us a little update, because they are in the middle of their pre-sale, and they're, I think, 2/3, almost 3/4 of the way through it. And I'd love to know, and I'm sure the community would love to know from Kash, where are we at with that? What's coming up? What's top of mind for you guys? What's going on?
Okay, so we're about 77% sold out at the minute. Okay, the RFI pool is full, so there's like 400,000 RFI in there, so that's amazing.
Yeah, that's 4% of the total supply.
So good.
It's a shit load, yeah. Then the Ethereum LG pool, that's got, I think it's 180 Ethereum in there, maybe. That's full, okay. We've got around about 280 worth of Ethereum left to collect on the simple swap of Ethereum for NRCH. Last I checked, there was around about 27, 28 OG NFTs to be minted, which is pretty cool. So
Can you tell us about those NFTs, buddy? There's a bunch of people here that probably haven't gotten into the pre-sale yet.
Yeah, so there's two types of NFTs that we're going to deliver. There's going to be the KYC NFT, which is related to Assure as well. It's the first lot of NFTs that we're delivering for KYC approved persons. So the KYC NFT will allow you to get in on the airdrop, because we're not allowed to airdrop without KYC, apparently. And also, those who have that NFT will be involved in governance decisions, voting, as well as being able to put themselves up on the risk committee. Okay. So basically, you need 1,600 NRCH to be eligible for that, and you get those. There's an article for that as well. Now, the OG NFT is really something interesting, because it's really a feature set. Okay, this NFT will create an exclusive Telegram chat just for the OGs to discuss and hopefully be almost an entrepreneurial hub. Okay. But at the same time, it allows, and this is the complex part, and many of the guys are still trying to understand what happens with the 25 loads that we have inside the NRCH contract. Okay, but very simply, in RFI, we all get a 1% proportionate share of the volume. Okay. In NRCH, that 1% is split across 25 loads. And anybody that sits in the load of their relative day of transaction, okay, that's the complex part, they get a proportion of the NRCH in that load. Okay? Basically, we created a way where you could arbitrage depending on what your model is. Okay? Jumping loads is triggered by transferring NRCH, whether it's into Uniswap or whether it is to somebody else's wallet, creating a taxable event. When you jump that load, you jump to the load that is relative to your day. So if you are in load 0 on Monday, and then you send or sell NRCH, you will jump the following day. You will jump to load 1 relative to the day after load 0. Okay, you will then get a proportionate share of the NRCH that sits in that load. Now, not every single person is ever going to jump every load every day unless they are intending to do that. The OG NFTs allows the holder of the NFT to basically jump into every single load every single day just by paying the gas. Okay.
Whoa. Yeah.
And is there a way to watch the loads and what's in them?
We're going to deliver an interface where you can call the function if you hold the NFT. Okay. And there will be further features around this. This will relate to the macro token in the future as well. There are other plans. I don't want to give away too much because
hold something close to vest.
What we are trying to do is we're trying to give everybody an incentive subject to their model for whatever it might be within the tokens. You get farmers, you get traders.
That's right.
There are other, right? So you've got two types of strategy, so to speak. Now, farmers, they get NRCH for effectively staking. Traders, they can get more NRCH, not just by trading the swings, but also by the low jumping. Okay, so it's an incentive to be able to trade every day, effectively. Now, where we're at with the sale is relative to a lot of the marketing efforts that that we're working on. There is a combined effort, okay, in order for us to ensure that we are promoting and marketing our narrative across the whole ecosystem. I am lining up, including our lovely El Crypto Chapo, as well as Macro CRG, Chainlink Junkie, and hopefully some few other influencers that we have. We are working on the narratives with. We have a theme of promotional activity to come out in order to support the growth of our ecosystem and get more wallets into our ecosystem with some hopefully high-profile endorsements. And that was based on a call which went very well today with a capital function. I've mentioned them. I think a few of them have even tweeted about it. It was a bit too early to jump the gun and release that information, but some of you already knew. Nonetheless, we've got some really exciting stuff coming up. I know you guys have touched upon Assure, launch pads. I mean, we've got this whole huge plan in the background. There's no point trying to bog down everybody with all the details, but all I can say, it's really, really cool. And it adds huge amounts of utility to our overall ecosystem. And to be honest, it's just really exciting stuff to be involved in. You know, there's constantly the hustle and bustle. I'm constantly being chased by pretty much all of you for something at any given time, or any given day.
Sorry, so we get excited.
The amount of busyness that is going on is crazy. Okay, so I mean, I sit at most of you know I sit at a really high level, try and catch up as when I can, and the amount of activity I'm seeing is ridiculous. So we know that we're moving in the right direction. I personally feel like we are moving in the right direction as a community, and I think with a few closures of the Enreach presale, along with some of the high profile stuff that we're about to release, I think we have a ridiculously amazing prospects on the horizon. And on top of that, I got wind of something that I think Morpheus was spinning in the background, which is really, really cool. And I think that there's going to be, if I can resurrect it, subject to me to agreeing a deal to resurrect it, I think we could have an RFI focused NFT coming out, which looks really, really cool. So we just need to work out the particulars, and hopefully we can get that NFT out as well.
Heck yeah!
Nice, man.
There's one
Awesome.
question for you, Kash, and we understand you got to leave. Shakes XTV said, will the Enreach KYC NFT distribution include investors from the US who submitted KYC, or is it just for those who purchased NRCH?
It's at the minute, it's just for those who've purchased NRCH. So where we're at is that my company, Optimize, we are applying for what's called a money service business license in the US. Okay, there's a lot of work involved in order to get to that regulatory infrastructure. Okay, but what that will allow us to do is it will allow us to give the power and approval to Enreach in order to deliver specific types of regulated services in the US, and that will open up Canada too. Okay, now once that's complete, then we will be able to board US investors even for an airdrop. Okay, right now we're not allowed to directly interact with US investors at all, including those on the shit list. I know Canada's not on the shit list, but and again, apologies if your country is on the shit list. I don't mean it like that. It's the FATFA sanction list, as well as a couple of other countries added just for security. But once we've got the regulatory approval in place, we're already one step ahead. We've got a year's long worth of endeavor and approval with Cross River Bank on our company just last week, and now that's going to lead to us basically taking full approval across the US, and then at that point we can sponsor Enreach in order to basically deliver a service to US and Canadian residents.
With that being said, Kash, from the sound of it, this is not something that's easy to do. Look, just blow your own trumpet for a second. Do you think that there is anything in DeFi that really has, is this, let alone could even catch up to this fast? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know, Brad. Honestly, we've been running at 100 miles per hour for a long time, and I might get caught for speeding and get the fines and the bans along the way, but it doesn't slow you down. You know what I mean? Where we're at is because of 4 or 5 years worth of work from myself and the Optimize team. The reason we're able to run at the pace that we are is because by the time we actually got into DeFi, we already had a massive infrastructure below us, and now we can build on top of that foundation. So if anything, we're just presented with new opportunities on a daily basis. It looks like, and it's still early days, but it looks like that we will be partnering with a very large European bank at some point as well, who has a strategy to support the crypto space in a massive way. Wow. And they have been working very hard to become an investment bank of sorts as well. And apparently they have a close to €1 billion in management currently. And it's not a huge bank, but for their country, they are the bank. And it's a very small country that they're from, but it is the bank for that country, and they are regulated across the whole of Europe. They're a SEPA member, and they can deliver exactly what we need. So it's these type of opportunities that come up pretty much on a daily basis nowadays. Is that we're being approached not by just by VCs or financial institutions, but by banks, because we started building the bridge between crypto and traditional centralized finance, but we are also a hub in centralized finance. So
yeah, dude, I think people just need to realize that 5 years, 1 month in crypto is long enough, let alone you building for 5 years. It's a pretty impressive platform that it seems like you've got building, and I want to help people wrap their head around that there is some serious differentiators that you and Enreach provide that should make everyone very bullish on our ecosystem.
It's a hell of a head start.
Ridiculously bullish, but I'm not allowed to say anything.
No, that's right. Sorry, I asked you. I asked you to say that. Yeah, I'll say it for you.
But yeah, it's been a lot of years of a lot of work. We've been dealing with banks for so many years. We've been fighting with banks to try and explain to them what we do in telecom. As I was explaining to Harrington Capital today, they asked us, why are you going into other industries? I said, of course we are. Only a few people know, but I've already agreed to sell our telecom technology to one of our customers, who's going to basically take over the management of the telecom industry from our settlement platform. And we're going into energy, advertising, obviously blockchain through Enreach. What I think a lot of people have probably seen, that Stripe got valued at like 95 billion last week, and one of the founders, he said something very interesting, which was that it's not about taking the market, it's about like empowering the market. Okay, and us relinquishing what we're doing in telecom is us stepping back and trying to deliver something across industries, not just one. And it's not about took the telecom market. Okay, we pretty much stole it. If I'm honest with you, it was low-lying fruit. We have connections in this industry. We took what we wanted to do, but now we're looking to give back, and telecom is going to get democratized, as are all the other industries that we can plug into. And ultimately, the biggest benefactor is going to be crypto, because we're going to take that liquidity value from crypto and we're going to plug it into the supply chains of all these other industries, and we're going to fund their business. Okay,
which is brilliant.
Real world business that actually makes money, and that crypto can get a return on, and then we can maybe do extra stuff where go get even more of a return.
So that's a good segue real quick into what Crypto Trader 2019 is wondering. And this is something for us to continually be able to bring back to our community. How does all of this directly benefit RFI and Ellie?
RFI is going to be the liquidity at the core of the bonds, of which we will basically distribute all these stable coins that will be used to fund all this activity.
So the bond market, which globally is like $200 trillion a year, and you're saying we're using RFI as the core store of value to build a crypto bond network of sorts.
A bond network that will underwrite the credit in the industries that we plug into. Yes.
Phenomenal.
Sorry, do you want to just say that?
No, go for it, buddy. Please.
When RFI grows and elevates, then also the opportunity with Ellie is going to elevate as well. They're gonna grow in sync and grow together because of the infinity pools and all that. So as much as we don't talk about Ellie as much, they're gonna grow as a, like they're tied to the hip, and it will make a lot, like it does make a lot of sense. It's just sort of sometimes a bit hard to quite like explain exactly how they all relate. But Enreach is going to empower RFI. Yo.
If I would say, what I would say with Ellie was that originally we wanted to make sure that we were able to deliver a staking solution to the market before the Enreach staking contracts came out. And the whole point of Ellie was to distribute, and decentralize the Ellie function. But Morph was able to create the infinity pools in the way that they did, and it just added another bow another string to the bow, right? So what we've got with Ellie is we've got now 2 staking contracts live, yielding Ellie on both RFI and Ellie. Okay, I know many of us are swimming in that pool. At the same time, we've got a pool coming up for NRCH, which means that more than likely by the time we get our staking contracts from Enreach out for the market making element, the Ellie contracts are going to be there for everybody to have a little swim in, get away from the potential penalty with the 25-day timer on NRCH, and actually gain some yield whilst waiting for the additional contracts that are coming out. So we always had this plan between us so that we could deliver something to our community that was just more than holding our RFI and getting our distribution, but also being able to get a lot more for holding our RFI, but staking into contracts where we actually can make use of the liquidity. And the first point of call was to ensure that we could decentralize Ellie as much as possible with the seed that Morphet had kept to the side, ready for everybody. So it's pretty cool how everything's really transpired. And I think the fun part for us is going to be in the coming weeks when we actually execute on this promotional plan that we've got, and some of the influences that we've got involved, and the type of narratives that we're trying to explain to a wider audience. I know most who are listening to this, you actually know most of the plans, and you're involved and you're using the functions or looking forward to the functions that are coming out with Unreach. But with what we're doing with the promotional plan, we hope that you'll be joined by many newbies that you can relay that plan to in our Telegram groups, Discord servers, and any other channels that we're managing.
Yeah, totally. Crypto Trader has a follow-up question that I guess we can all sort of jump into field if we feel. How are we going to engineer the ecosystem in such a way that the three tokens, RFI, Ellie, and Enreach, create mutually beneficial feedback loops rather than one or two tokens cannibalizing the others? And what the obvious answer there is that RFI and Ellie are going to have opportunities for single-sided staking, but also liquidity pool staking in the Enreach platform. Enreach, the token, is going to be required for any staking that you want to do. You'll have, just to get into the pools, you'll need a proportion in Enreach. But the best returns you're going to be able to get on Enreach are going to be with RFI Ellie liquidity pair. There's essentially a sextuple yield stream you can pull from that. And in order to take part in that, you'll need all three tokens. But once you do, you'll be pulling 6 types of yield. And ultimately, you'll be able to then collateralize that so that while it's sitting there earning you 6 types of yield, you'll be able to take a loan out in stable coins. And that's just a huge deal. If you want to expand on that a little bit, Kash, that might be cool. How will these tokens benefit each other? Yeah, lock up the supply.
Lock up the supply.
Yeah.
Starve the liquidity. Increase that value. Let us go and underwrite a shitload more credit out in the markets that we serve. Very simple.
Yep. And I know that when we talk about Enreach, it gets complex. There's a lot to it. One of the ways that I want to contextualize this for people is that the Reflect ecosystem is building out a whole world, a whole universe of opportunities. And those opportunities are available to people of all education levels, all skill levels, and all risk appetites. If you're super basic, it might be as simple as buying RFI and holding it, because you understand that with RFI, 1% of every transaction is getting split between everybody. So if you buy and hold that token, you're good, you're making money. From there, you might want to stake that token in the Infinity pool, because you find out that there's currently over 100% APY on that, and you're willing to go through the motions to throw into a staking pool. And it scales up in complexity from there. Ellie has a bit more of a nuanced tokenomics system, but it earns higher yields currently. That's super interesting. And then you get into Enreach, and it's full on financial engineering. And if you're willing to do a little bit of homework, then you're going to learn how all these different things fit together, and you're going to be able to pick your strategy, your risk tolerance. If you're a long-term values holder, you might stake in a pool and leave them there. If you're a little more of a day trader, you're going to work with the load system. And it's just everyone is going to have options for how they want to put their money to work for them in this ecosystem. And sure, our work is cut out for us to simplify that for the user. Part of that's just with branding and marketing. Some of it's with educational materials, how-to guides and whatnot. I think a lot of it's actually going to be with user experience development, building apps that abstract away most of the complexity, so you can plug in your debit card and buy tokens, and then with a button or two, you can stake them in various opportunities, rather than going through the 25,000 steps that are currently required to play in DeFi. All these things are happening, and this actually feeds into Crypto D-Boy's question about gas savings in the ecosystem. It seems like we've got anywhere from a month to 3 or 4 months at least before significant savings in gas happens. Until then, we kind of have a limiter on the entire Ethereum ecosystem. on how much can actually happen, how much any platform can actually take off. So to me, in the short term, yes, we got to keep people at the table. We got to keep them excited and confident. But it's really about skating to where the puck will be in the medium to long term, getting all of these critical pieces in place, including brand and user experience, so that when those gas fees are solved and a tidal wave of money comes in here, there's a place for people to land, to bring their money this way and join us in this awesome ecosystem.
Cool.
Awesome. Kash, how are
Yeah,
you going
buddy.
for time?
I got to jump off. I've just been given my 1 minute warning.
No worries, bro. Thank you so much. We love having you here, and we really appreciate you dropping in for the update. It's always fun.
Hey, apologies, guys. I wish I could be here for the full time, but today I've just been on the back foot in time, and still got a couple of things to do. But next week for sure.
Heck yeah.
No
Thank you
worries,
so
man.
much, mate.
Thank you so much.
All the best, guys. Have a good
See you,
evening.
mate. Peace
Take
out,
care.
mate.
Take care, Kash. Love you, bud. Cool. So yeah, nice big update on Enreach. Obviously, there's a ton going on there. Let's bring it back home a little bit. There's been a ton going on in our ecosystem. Obviously, we launched our Infinity pools on Friday. Very quickly, we've got 50% of circulating supply. 80% of total supply of Ellie is locked in those pools. It's an incredible number. They're currently paying like 600% APY. It's insane with half the tokens locked. It's really an incredible feat for such a fast thing. The RFI pools have about 20% of total supply locked in it. They're paying over 100% APY right now. It's really exciting. Then you might have noticed, though, in the days afterwards, the chat got a little quieter. We had a little bit of a sell-off. However, in the back channels, what we've been focusing on for the last couple of weeks and will be for the next couple is how much our volunteer crew has grown, how much more capacity we're on the cusp of having, and how much stronger our community is getting, even if it's not quite apparent on the front end. So Mouse, dude, you've been doing so much. It's incredible. The world is starting to turn around you. It's badass. I'm wondering if we might be able to go down the list here and talk about some of the teams we have working for us and some of the standout objectives and maybe some of the people that deserve a shout that have been such great additions to our crew.
Absolutely. I'd love to. First, let me say, I don't mind the pat on the back for the moment, but I'm not going to be the hero forever here. And we're going to start to focus on all the people that are behind the community pushing things forward. I'm getting a lot of attention, and I appreciate that, but I'd be nothing without the people that are supporting the project.
This is the way.
This
is the way.
This is the way, absolutely. I'm trying to define the number of volunteers that we have. It's a catchy thing to say. We've grown from 15 to 50, but I'm not sure if it's more or less 57 or 70.
Wow.
We have a lot going on. The very interesting thing for me is the amount of hats I've been wearing, and people like Damo and Brad and Andrew here are all wearing an incredible amount of hats. Andrew's developing, he's mentoring, he's group leader, mod, gift maker, Twitter influencer. I could keep going.
And then he runs his own business on top of that. You know? And has a wife.
And a dog.
And a dog. So he's got a family, he's got a business, and he does everything for RFI. I don't know how you do it, to be honest. So
my hat off. It's really impressive. And the interesting thing for me happened just a few days ago. The team started to feel more comfortable within the framework that we've put together. Not all of it's perfect. It takes a lot of feedback and adjustment. This was drawn out on a napkin and moved. I feel like we moved a mountain within a week, and now we're checking back with everybody to see how they fit, feel, and what works and what doesn't. But the interesting thing was the sporadic growth organically within the framework and people breaking off from any kind of leadership when an idea popped up and someone said, how about we do this? About a dozen people said, yeah, I'm really into that. And then the numbers squad was born. And God, I have trouble reading their messages. I can't even come up. I think Haydu messaged me earlier and asked me a question about what was going on in the group. I said, I'm sorry, brother. I have I understand what you guys are doing, but I have no idea what's going on in there. Keep it up. But
yeah. Speaking of which, Brad, can you let Haydo into the Discord, into this chat group so that he can give a little update on the numbers squad?
Oh, yes.
Do. I would love to learn more.
Yeah,
this has happened a couple times.
I'll do it.
So right now we have teams for cybersecurity. These guys are both wonderful and scary, scary men. They're super nice guys, but they have an incredible hammer that they will lay down with fury of justice. And I'm glad they're on the side. Very much so. The translations team is a very, very busy place. What do we have, about 10 or 12 spin-off communities in foreign nations?
10 or 12 different language communities.
Yeah.
Wow.
We throw at them articles, tweets, GIFs, everything. And there's a lot of pressure on these guys to produce, learn, translate, and then explain to their own communities. So I take my hat off to them. That's a tough job. And we're doing our best to make it easier and streamline this and check in and ask them what works and what doesn't, and how can we be better for them as kind of the parent company, if you will, the foundation.
Right. And keeping in mind, these are all volunteers. These are people that found their way to our community, love what we're doing, and have stepped up to help us as equals, as community members, to pitch in and make this thing happen. It's been really beautiful to see.
It's incredible. I jump out of bed every day to make my coffee real fast and see what's going on. I'm just stoked to get back into it after even 4 hours of sleep. I don't know how many of us are actually getting a full night's sleep anytime soon. It's just so exciting, so busy, so fast paced, and I think we all love what we're doing.
Yeah, welcome to my world, buddy.
Yeah. Andrew, would you like to talk a little bit about the graphics team itself?
Yeah, no problem. So shout out to Crypto Hester and Pedro, actually, who have really helped, just paving the way for churning graphics, because we need it and we need more. So within that group, we're small, but we're growing, and with Niche helping out as well to sort of make that liaison between the different groups and the content that we need to distribute. So we're setting up really a production pipeline, effectively. So there's a term we use, shit, bollock, and scramble. We're trying to get away from that. So we're doing stuff that is more established and more in a regimented approach. So planning in advance, making sure that we've got all the assets we need, clean graphic behind the scenes, and any copy that sits on top of that. So just building a rapport with those people, and I really appreciate them jumping in. That's our whole world, really, is trying to create things creative, make it exciting for people to want to jump in and elevate the room. So, but I could do with some more. I could do with some more graphics guys, and a video editor, or those kind of people that can really sort of turn quick moving image graphics around. So that's an appeal. That's a reach out to everybody really listening in and watching. I could do with some more to nurture and grow and help us excel. So yeah,
you heard it here first, folks. We need more graphic designers, video editors, people that are on the ball for the visual side of things.
Yeah, but we can't do it all myself. need to dial it back at some point.
Yeah,
definitely just be involved in it.
Yeah, how about we've got Haydo here now. Haydo, what's up, buddy? Welcome.
What's up?
Yeah, buddy. Haydo has been with us for a minute, man. He's been a great member of our community, long-term holder, just kicking it with us in the community chat, and like a bunch of other folks, when we brought Mouse in and got to business really organizing, it turned out that there was just a natural and awesome place for Hato to step in. It was a side channel conversation that he and I and a couple other people were having that precipitated creating the Numbers Squad. And the Numbers Squad, it was originally talking about, well, like, okay, the APY on the Infinity pools is what the user interface showing. Is it accurate? What's going on? We need a calculator. How do we do that? And it all sort of precipitated into a side group where we're doing projections and calculations on our various tokens and products, and crafting up the basis for some calculators that we might be able to put into some user experience design. Hato, what's going on there in the Numbers group? Your microphone is suppressed. Brad, is that you, buddy?
Might be able to get him real quick.
Yeah, do you need to unmute him or something?
Oh,
Just
There we go. You guys got me loud and clear?
yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah, we got you, bud. Sweet.
All right. Yeah, great introduction, Damo. So I'm here representing the Numbers Squad, right? Couple people I want to mention who have been a big part of that would be Rust, Bog, Calvin, and a handful of others. A lot of really good ideas being thrown around. But really the question is, what are we doing? What have we done? So it started off where we wanted to get provable numbers behind the APYs, right? We want to know, how's this all panning out? So we started off with coming up with simple formulas, that we can plug in certain variables based on volume, total supply, and a handful of other things. And it turned into a lot more because we realized we have 6 types of yield. We've got daily compounding, and just a ton of variables at play here. So, really, it's not as simple as just a standard investment calculator, right? So we've got Excel sheets going. We're coming up with multiple calculators, and we're really trying to work together, share ideas, but we have put a focus on independent work so that we can basically independently come up with the same results, just to prove that what we're doing works, it's accurate, it's right, because this is something that has to be right the first time around when it eventually moves on to being used by a larger audience.
Totally. And like one of the most interesting numbers to me is probably the number that none of us want to see, which is like, what is the lowest possible ROI people can earn with our various products, including the Infinity Pool? In like the worst case scenario, what does yield look like? And that's the first one. Yeah, totally. Nerd Squad. It's awesome, Chapo. It's been really cool. So we're trying to work up like reasonably legit. What's that bottom number? And it's looking like the bottom number is still like 8 or 10%. You know what I mean? So when you're talking about traditional finance, you're talking about the equivalent of a savings account. And the worst case scenario is that it's paying you like 1,000% more than, or sorry, like 1,000, what is it? Like 100 times more than what a regular bank account, what a regular savings account might pay you. And then on the high end, it's just astronomical. But we want to make sure that we have legitimate numbers that we can share that are reasonable, that a traditional finance person could look at and look behind the scenes and do their own math and say, that's real. And if that's real, that's impressive.
Exactly. And we need visual representations. I think that's a big part of really understanding the numbers, is seeing graphs and seeing charts. So that's another thing we would like to move on and add. Eventually we'd like to build this out into, something that's accessible from the web rather than a simple Excel sheet. But it's going to take time, and there's still a lot of work to be done. But we're on it every day, So it's slowly chugging along.
It's been really fun. Oh, sorry,
I've been in this. I've been in this ecosystem from almost the start, from like day 2 or 3 or something like that with RFI, and I still have absolutely no idea how much I'm earning.
Exactly.
I know the number's going up, and it's going up every single day. Ever since I bought a fat stack of Ellie, I know that number's going up too. But man, I think this number squad's awesome because I think we're all scratching our head. There's so many variables. It's super dynamic. There's a lot that goes on. It's obviously a range and that sort of thing. But that visual representation is what we attempted to do with the dashboard. I think now that we've got Braden on hand for 20 hours a week, I hope that he can start cranking. I think that the dashboard's a good start, but there's a lot that's left to be desired there with the functionality and it working correctly the way that it should, and potential mobile apps or like a web app like you were talking about, and then actually having real numbers so we can put some APYs in there, or at least put ranges, or current. This is how we're calculating it, or this is based on the last 7 days. This is based on the last 7 months. This is based on the last 24 hours. I just think it's awesome that we've got these teams now, right? And it's like I've personally been way too busy to sit down and spend 4 days thinking about the numbers and actually going historically to look how much I've earned and that sort of thing. And I know, Andrew's not going to sit there, and he has too many graphics and beautiful artwork to create to crank numbers for 4 days straight. But the fact that Mouse is coming in here and owning the community and finding people like Hato who want to do that and who want to dive in with a couple other people and just figure it the fuck out. This is what it's all about, really. It's all about putting people where they're passionate about. And I think in general, like Brad said it great. I never wanted to lead a decentralized community. It just kind of happened and nobody else was. And I felt like we needed it. So I did it. But
you filled a vacuum. That was important.
I'm not passionate about it. I'm passionate about RFI because I think RFI is incredible. And I think the Reflect ecosystem in general has an insane amount of potential. So, I'm passionate about everything we're doing, but I'm not passionate about being a leader of a decentralized community. And to be quite honest with you, I think Brad told me best, you're not a very good one, Chapo. And I'm like, listen, I'm more geared in the traditional business world where I can have some authority and lead a centralized organization. And I think that's caused a lot of friction in me trying to lead a decentralized organization in a centralized way. And I love what's happened in the last couple of weeks with Mouse coming in here, because I can't tell you how much of a great sense of relief it is for me personally, feeling like I'm no longer being forced to lead a decentralized community in a centralized way. And we're getting back to the decentralization. And I can almost sense like, Damo, I know you and I have had our issues and we've had it out plenty of times, but I can sense it's not just me that feels that relief. Like there's a lot of our community that doesn't want me to be a centralized leader either. And everybody wants this decentralization, me included, and we're all going to be better for it. And that's what I'm super passionate about, because I'm passionate about building things like Assure. This new venture. Like I'm waking up every day and I'm insanely passionate about moving Assure forward, which will ultimately benefit RFI greatly. And I'm back to the way I felt back in late November, early December with RFI, where I was building, we were starting from new. It was like, I'm going to grow this thing. We're going to brand it. We're going to get people
fresh and exciting. It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fresh and exciting and that sort of thing. And that's where my passion personally lies. And so I'm back to doing that again. And it's just really cool to see Mouse chugging along over there, finding people and finding their passions, and letting Andrew be the artistic design talent to craft, branding for people, and having our numbers guys like Hato work on that aspect, and have Kash Kash be a financial engineer, and have, just putting people in spaces where they're passionate about. Like that's where we're ultimately going to be most efficient.
Exactly.
And it's cool that we're making good progress now in getting back to that, and that I'm not forced to be the leader that I'm not good at and don't want to be.
Yeah, and frankly, I love it when you're able to step up and speak, because you speak clearly and confidently, and it really helps people to feel the strength of our ecosystem. It's nice to make space for you to do that without you having to be the only one that can do that, so that you have plenty of time and space to focus on these other things that excite you and bring value as well. So I agree with you, man. It's a really good shift.
Yeah, it's something that I feel like we just gotta just allow for when it comes to just this the whole growth of this is that, like, being a decentralized community with no leaders, like, we are naturally as humans attracted to leadership and sitting under leaders or being leaders, and centralization isn't an inherently bad thing. It's just that there is but it has been abused, and so that's why crypto and DeFi is doing so strong about being decentralized. But it's about, like, banks being the middleman and doing bad things, but when it comes to, like, Andrew's he runs his own business. It's central through him, and I'm sure that he is a fantastic boss. And that organization is good for it. It's good that all of his team isn't in charge of everything, and if anything, they're glad that they're in the safety net of a good leader. And so we are attracted to good leadership, and so it's natural. It's only natural for us to sort of be attracted, and some of us don't want we still want someone to just, like, head up everything. And I even see it, like, I've even said it to community guys, go and like start thinking about what you can build for the Reflect ecosystem. And not many people really react to that. Like,
right.
And it's because not everyone needs to be a leader and be an entrepreneur, and they can just be a holder, and that's totally fine. So it's just this, it's this real human thing that's going on right now, and I don't think there's many, maybe there are examples of this, not that I know of, but we are just treading in a territory that's interesting. Now, for us, like, let's say that, like, Chapo, RFI Jesus, Kash, like, those guys just disappeared. Like, we would go, oh no, like, that sucks. And part of the reason why it sucks is because they just have the capital and the network to be able to build. You hear Kash's network, it's insane. Like, and so we gravitate to want to make them leaders. But we don't necessarily though want them to be a leader, but we do want to encourage them. And it's an interesting thing, because in a decentralized organization, there's no leader, and so people should be able to go tell Kash, you should or shouldn't do this.
I think that's actually it's kind of a misnomer. Actually, decentralization doesn't mean no structure, and it doesn't mean no leadership. In many cases, it actually means more leadership, but it's a little more fluid. You know what I mean? Like, we have all of our teams now. We've got like 10 or 15 teams, and in many of them, there is somebody that's sort of bottom lining thing. We have Mouse at the center of this, and as you can see, that his leadership style is very different from like Andrew as the boss of his agency, or Chapo as, like, the hard charging get shit done guy. There's different styles, and in volunteer communities, oftentimes the leadership really needs to take like a lead from the middle instead of a lead from the front, sort of a vibe. And it's all about generating consensus and weaving together the relationships and making people feel both oriented and appreciated. There's a lot more of sort of the gentleness of human relationship building over the, well, I pay your salary, so I'm just going to tell you what you're doing today. And God help you if you don't do it.
And that's
but even in decentralization, there's a lot of leadership.
Yeah, and
I just surround myself with people better than me. That's all I do.
Yeah, right, totally.
But you're good at it, and I'm sure that they're happy to be under that. It's a really good point, though, Damo. That I look, like everything that you said about the gentleness and be able to consensus and all of that stuff. Just to be completely honest, things take longer when you do things like that. It's
kind of a slow down to speed up sort of a thing. Once people feel good and actually feel like they're on the same page, and some people are owning the workflow, things can go incredibly fast, because the people are putting in the work because they're excited, because they're doing it with friends, because they're all about it. But it does take some foundation setting. in
Yes,
those relationships.
That's right. Like even a good
yeah.
example is our treasury, where we like, you know, at some stages we just like we get an opportunity to be able to spend some money and we just go, yep, let's just sign this thing, and then on the other end we're like, flip, we didn't even ask the community whether that spend was something that they appreciated. And so those type of things, we need systems to speed up those processes, but really it inherently is slower than Andrew the business person just going, this is what we're doing for the business, and actually I'm not even going to tell you, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So
and then the flip side of that is, as we build that we end up with an ecosystem that's actually larger than our crew and our Telegram channels, and we end up, if we succeed, more with an ecosystem that looks like Ethereum, where there's builders and developers and institutions that are playing with our currencies that we don't even know and we've never even spoken to. And that goes through that like go slow to go fast thing, where we build an ecosystem, a network, a community that's expansive, that feels empowered, because it's not all coming from some top down, it's coming from every which direction is inspired, and making sure that resources have a way of flowing to those places. Yeah, it can be slower at the outset, but ultimately it allows for a forest. You know what I mean? It allows for a whole thing.
So I guess I wasn't saying that to sort of diss at all, like the community stuff goes.
Yeah, no worries, man.
But I just want to give people, like, when we're looking at like forks and whatnot, like I'm talking to people that want to make gains, right? Like we're in that ecosystem, like, you know, we're in the DeFi like space, and people are investors, and we're seeing the price go down and not pump as big as we see our market cap is not as big as some of our forks. Like, let's just be honest, that's real. But they are centralized organizations. They can execute in a way that's just very different to us, and what we are navigating here in the long tail is going to be truly valuable. But it is just, it's a different, like we're in territory that's just it's not documented like as well as just normal business, and they're operating in a normal business model where they have team tokens, and they have, like, you know, if their project goes really well, they have a lot of money to start executing like crazy. For us, we're like, it's not like that. We have a treasury where that's requiring people to actually like donate, and we have a few central figures that are big, like that have a lot behind them, like Chapo or Kash or RFI Jesus. But again, that's their personal money. They're not making profit off the business and its successes. It's just a very different thing. And so I just want to ask and encourage people, just with the perspective of patience with what we're doing with RFI. It may be a slower burn, but we're doing something that's deeply important and long lasting, and that can integrate with the real world in a way that no one business can. Bitcoin can translate across like every single country internationally with basically no problems, just because of just the way that it is. No one business can do that. It's like there's too many regulations, too many problems. People don't even want to do that because they'll be liable for things that happen. Because if you're a business owner, you're liable. So what we're doing, it's gonna be a bit different and maybe a bit slower. We're gonna make some mistakes, but you know, we start with Chapo leading the charge, and it turned out really great for us. But now we've got a bunch of people here, like Mouse and Damo and the rest of the 50 team. And by the way, that's a volunteer team. I just want to make that transparent, that like these are people that are giving up their time freely. We're not paying a bunch of people on salary or anything like that. But we're like, guys, we are iterating and evolving. Like, I am so impressed. I really am so impressed. It's if you haven't been in this type of community-driven projects before, like I'm part of churches, and so that a lot of it, that really is very community. It's very similar. It has a lot of relations to it, and the people participating so freely in this space is just truly incredible. And so I don't want to keep banging the same drum, but I really want to encourage you, just patience. Know that there is the vision for us is different than other forks and other projects. We still want to take what's good from them and bring it and implement it into ours, but we just got to also understand we are different. It requires unique solutions.
It's good. And I think the timing actually lines up perfect. Like I mentioned earlier, we've got anywhere from 1 month to like 4 months before gas solutions start bringing the gas prices down and opening up the floodgates for the Ethereum ecosystem. We have basically that amount of time to get our ducks in a row here, to get our radically growing volunteer team in sync and firing on all cylinders, to prepare some of the pieces that Enreach has coming, to prepare the educational materials, to prepare some user experiences that simplifies interacting with our ecosystem. All those things that are naturally going to take a little longer, we have that little longer to do because the Ethereum ecosystem in general has a bit of a rate limiter on it because of those gas fees. So to me, it all lines up perfect. Mario, Crypto Trader 2019, is asking, what's our near-term plans to get attention to new investors? Because this is a decentralized project, a lot of us are doing a number of different things. So I'll let other people speak into this as well as me, but some of it is getting the brand and the marketing and the message down. Some of it is working on, like, for instance, a web app that makes it super easy to interact with buying our tokens, staking our tokens, seeing what you've made so far and what you're projected to make. Some of it is having some more fun with treasure hunts and maybe some contests, but making sure that the quality is higher and that those contests feed into whatever our brand persona is. Some of it is releasing products like Assure, which apparently, hopefully, is going to be up and running in a few weeks, maybe less. That we'll be able to start marketing again to crypto projects and bringing in more excitement through other communities. There's a number of things that we can do, and I think the main thing we need to do as a community is if you're not involved already and you're interested and you've been around for a while, stick your hand up and hang out with us. We'll jump into a voice chat. We'll see what you're into. We're having a lot of fun working on this together, and we'd love to bring you in. And otherwise, stick around in the chat, keep telling your friends about it, and in the next couple of weeks, you're going to see us firing on all cylinders a lot more smoothly, and it's going to be a lot more clear in our public channels, everything we've been so excited about in our back channels. Would anyone else want to speak a little to what we've got in the near term to be exciting?
I would like to respond to that just a little bit, just by explaining of workflow. When did our new writer jump on board? Was that about 4 days ago, 5 days ago, something around there?
H, right?
Our buddy H is what I was referring to. Doesn't know a lot about crypto. Landed here. He knows enough how to buy the coin apparently, and he heard we were looking for volunteers and hit me up. So this guy has made his way around the teams, and he's writing articles for us. And this is his opportunity to go from basically zero knowledge to interview people like Andrew and El Chapo and write basically a documentary about what is the foundation and ecosystem. I mean, he's really biting off something big here. I'm not sure how to sum up what is all of it. And that's what he's going after he's done a few pieces. But what I wanted to really touch on is the workflow. He has to write this paper. He has to talk to about a dozen people who know specific details on each section of the paper. Then he has to pass it around to get it edited to people like Brad and Damo. They put the rubber stamp on it, back to me, over to Andrew in graphics, where they're going to shine it up to have it published, back over to Damo, where he's going to put it onto the Medium. I mean, just publishing a paper is no small task and takes many man hours of activity. And that's just one little section. That's our little literature group that's growing. It's exciting stuff to see this process, and this is how this thing's going to grow. Everybody just jumping in and doing what they love, and that's all we should be doing. We shouldn't be putting ourselves in an uncomfortable position. Me trying to be a front man. Have you seen my spelling? I know you guys have seen my math. We can talk about that. I did want to
say a little bit on, from the graphics side of it and stuff. This space is a very visual medium, and we do need to up our game visually. We need to up our game in terms of how we present ourselves to the outside world, but also bringing the likes of NFTs are so cool at the moment. They're a real hot topic, and I think that's something that we're building in the background. And for those that don't know out there, we have a set of NFTs ready to go. We've had the 16 levels ready to go for a while, but the dashboard and the LE Infinity pools took the priority and the incentive to do that there. So within the next 2 weeks, there'll probably be an RFI centric NFT series on the cards that for people to buy and to trade and exchange. Each one of them will have a different level of value and utility. We're not going to kind of divulge the information on entirely what that utility is, but it will have leverage and utility further down the line. So I'm excited to get going on stuff like that. And also with the volume and the transactional nature of buying and selling, that's going to bring that activity into the space by buying and selling NFTs in RFI ecosystem, in the Reflect ecosystem. So for me, I'm really excited to want to go down that route and bring more of that world into Reflect. Obviously, those that are founders would have noticed that they've had their founder NFTs issued to them as well. So that was something I've been working on for the last couple of days. There was a promise made, and I felt it was right for us to actually deliver on those NFTs. So everybody that was on the list of wallet addresses got an NFT, and there was one that was missed out from a sort of an error, but that's been resolved, so everybody should have one now. Nice little tool as well, which Brad put me onto, which was that bulk sender app. That was really cool.
So that worked.
Very smooth interface. It worked a dream. And it was much reduced the gas fees on that anyway. Considerably. It was super cool. So that's something that I found really interesting to interact with. OpenSea, the way minting those things and being able to specify RFI as the token you can choose for the buying and selling of that NFT, which is great for our ecosystem as well. Helios has been in the chat talking about putting a poll together, asking some people around, if gas fees were free, would you be in the Infinity pool? It seems like the majority of 51% are saying yes. If the gas fees were completely sort of taken away, they would definitely jump into the Infinity pool. So something we're going to be working on in the next couple of days is a gas pass. A gas pass will be something we play with in the chat, and we'll nominate one person who holds minimum of 500 RFI to get them into the staking pools, into the Infinity pools, and offer to pay their gas. So something we want to try around with and play with that and see how that goes to incentivize people. If gas is the issue, but you still want to stake and you still want to earn yield, then let's do something about it. Let's play.
Yeah, awesome. I think that makes me think like we probably need to look into. There's a lot of cool platforms like NFT platforms out there that we should try and play ball with that do really good NFTs. I think we already Kash was actually referring to one that we had made a while ago with another company, another platform that will get connected. But I think like we need to, something I don't think I've even thought about or done very much is actually just connecting with more projects and just cross-pollinating and encouraging each other. So that I think that would be cool in the NFT space, like a way to do that. Crypto Trader just asked that also. This whole marketing thing, like, are we until high cost of gas for buying and staking becomes less of an issue, would it be smarter to focus on attracting investors who can afford those costs without hesitation? You're basically saying, can we attract people with big wallets? And that is, of course, a great idea. And we Kash was already talking, like the marketing plan that Kash is talking about with the influencers and is including RFI. RFI is central to Enreach. yes, they want to they wanted to market once Enreach was launched. They didn't want to have to market to get the pool filled, and we don't think that they actually will need to, but once it's filled, like, he doesn't want to just plug Enreach. Like, the whole ecosystem is what needs to, like, primarily Enreach and RFI, and it's yeah, there's money. There's money going into it. It's going to be it should be fairly good. But also, I would like to emphasize that building around RFI is like in tandem with all the things that we've discussed, like of like getting writers and getting content and getting our messaging. It is so needed. We also are building around it, and for the people that can do that, we're just making sure that they do that. And so Chapo, myself, Steve, we're working on Assure, and yeah, there's and I don't know, Chapo's disappeared for a sec probably, but we might talk about that in a sec. But these, like, you know, on top of Enreach and Assure, we of course are wanting to see other platforms being built around RFI, and those are going to track, like, man, like new DeFi tokens just pump simply because they're new, like, and so they just attract new people because they're new. So we bring new things into the space, and it's just going to attract new people. So like, people are jumping into the Assure chat going, when's pre-sale, because they're looking for the next token to opt in by. They're not asking us about any information about, you know, this is classic degen culture. They're not asking about fundamentals of you know, what we are. They assume we're a token and they want to buy in. Exactly. So it's so yeah, we're it's like it attracts new, like, they have no idea, like, they just must have heard it somehow, somewhere, and that's attracting new people into the ecosystem, and eventually we'll share the narrative when it makes sense, and we don't over confuse them of how this all works into the RFI ecosystem, but it'll be seamless. Yeah, so that's also other ways that we're going to get new investors, bigger wallets, all of that. And if you can't tell, like, Enreach is for the like more for the advanced people, more for the like, anyone can participate. It's decentralized, but it is definitely, like, I'm even intimidated of it to a degree. It does feel like it's something that the big boys will play with and the industries will be able to connect with. Damo, by the way, your camera has frozen on my end. I don't know if
same for me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It has frozen for me as well.
Oh, okay. Maybe just like,
no, I literally just haven't blinked for like 3 minutes.
I was like, man, Damo's real serious right now.
Damo's
That's the M1
Brad,
chip. Blame the M1 chip. Just cheap.
Sorry, Mouse?
Back to the headshot. Don't I look good?
Sorry, Mouse?
I think we have time enough to run through every team and discuss in detail. Maybe we can spread this out over a few weeks. But we do have one more guest I'd like to introduce from our cybersecurity team. I'm not going to name who's on the team exactly, except for this one individual. So if he can turn on his mic, Silver7, and introduce yourself a little bit and tell people why you should be glad you're on our side, and scare the living Jesus out of the people that might want to mess with us. That would be great.
So
Silver, you guys hear me?
Yeah, man.
Silver, yeah, what's up, buddy?
Hey guys, how you doing, man?
Good, thanks. You were server muted, so no one, like, so you probably were trying to unmute yourself. You're like, what is going on? You're saying, like, working on my nuclear degree to understand this Discord.
Yeah, these apps, man. I'm as you said, I'm a cyber guy, so when it comes down to using social media apps, it gives me the heebie-jeebies. So I don't usually use them.
No, fair enough.
But yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Please don't tell me what you know. It'll just scare me too much.
No, it's not about scaring. My job's to just point out things that we might not be doing that conducive to a security posture. But if we can make it a little more difficult to penetrate us over here, then they'll go down to pancake swap. So that's always a nice thing. But yeah, I was actually talking earlier with Chapo earlier, and it's just basically a third grade hack that was done over there. Very, very simple to have avoided. And you make a simple mistake like that, not only do you get the media all up in your schnout, but when we're doing things like we're doing over here in the crypto world, investors lose a lot of money. So
yeah,
just generally, we're going to be working with the team here to basically not only make sure that the contracts are properly audited on the Solidity side and coding for blockchain, but just to bring awareness to people that a blockchain is just an application. It's an application running on an infrastructure. So it's great that we can protect the codes and stuff for the application layer. We need to make sure that they're running inside of a system that's properly architected and properly hardened and secured. You're only as safe as your system is. Hackers are lazy. That's what we do. Is we find the easiest way in, and we will exploit that. So over the years of watching it, I've learned that pretty much any system you're in front of, it can be compromised. You can compromise anything. We do, our firm, we do a lot of 3- and 4-letter agency work for the United States government, military, DoD, stuff like that. And it never seems to amaze you that the common mistakes that people make. There's always a goodwill to want to help the other person. Hence, they'll open a door, hold it open into a building that should be classified. So, you got people level, you got the server infrastructure level, you got application level. It's our job to basically make sure that we're taking a look at holistically the whole security stack. So I'm going to try to help you guys out and see what we can do. But I've absolutely fallen in love with the people here. A great group of people here. I absolutely love the product. I should say ecosystem. You get a mixture of LE and RFI and the up and coming Enreach, minus the fact my stupid country can't seem to get their politicians correct, and I can't participate in it. But
I love how you just called it Enrich. That's nice.
Yeah, Enreach. Enreach.
Silver, I have a little anecdote you might appreciate. You're already saving me time, not only saving our asses. For when I ask you to look into a project or a person to make sure things are legit before we get to the negotiations table. But even before that, when somebody approaches me with a deal or something, some kind of business they might want to do with us, and within the very first part of the conversation, I let it be known that to deal with us, cybersecurity will be having a look at you. And that's cutting out quite a few conversations very short. I don't know where they go after I say that, but I get blocked and disappear.
Yeah, it's a funny concept.
Yeah.
Very familiar with it. One of my favorite things is in hacking, layers of strength that I've built over the years is wireless. Wireless is confusing to people because it's invisible. Just the whole idea of something you can't see, you don't understand, is frightening to people. So what's cool is you take this hacker thing. I've always been able to use that to break open conversations. And eventually, over the years, learned, hey, there's a use for this. And next thing you know is you could build an entire business around it. But definitely, cyber is always a great coffee table setter.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for being here. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Silva, you're this morning I got an abrupt call from Chapo. I'm sitting with my family having breakfast, and I don't often get a call straight from Chapo, so I thought, this is probably important. And so I stand up, take the call. He's like, mate, we got to get in Discord. like, oh, right, like it better be quick, mate. I'm having breakfast with my family, and then we got the stream, and he's like, yeah. So yeah, and I was like, righto. So I jump in, and he's just absolutely just stoked about the conversation he had with you and your business partner, and yeah, we're building out something like we're not totally sure of exactly how we'll be like working together, but we're just trying to build a safer DeFi, right? And
Right.
and we're just gonna like we're just unbelievably stoked to have you within our, like, you know, you've just been floating in our community, and then you pop up like connect with Chapo on this thing of like we're trying to bring safety to the investor, but also safety for anonymous, you know, devs, for their reasons to be anonymous, to be able to still operate with trust with their community. And it's yeah, anyway, Chapo was just so stoked to have a conversation with you, and just for it's hard to right now we don't really want to be talking about exactly how Ashore is going to be serving the whole RFI ecosystem, because there's certain it's just something that it's just not the best thing to talk. It's delicate at the moment of how to talk about it, but just trust us that the more that Ashore grows and is trusted and does serve the DeFi space properly, it is going to directly translate into RFI and it being a vital part of the DeFi ecosystem. And so it's like, you know, we were just so stoked to be able to like potentially bolster our efforts to bring a more trusted DeFi with you as well.
Totally, man. You know, one thing I want to point out with that is the idea of turning weaknesses into strength. With Ashore and with Silver coming online and this whole cybersecurity crew, we're turning something that we ourselves have struggled with a little bit in our aggressive tactic to bring projects into our ecosystem and to grow the integrations with our token. We fell victim to a few rug pulls, a few scams, a few just partnerships that fizzled. Things that would have been better if the systems were in place to better vet other projects. And so now we're learning from those really valuable lessons and bringing in incredible people and building infrastructure for not just us, but for the whole space. And I think being in such a new industry, because this is still very much a new industry, if we can operate on those principles and just every time we notice we have a weakness, turn it into a strength, and then offer that strength to the industry itself, I think we'll be very, very strong going forward.
Smart man.
Yeah,
awesome. Right on, guys.
No,
so
I
really appreciate you, bro. It's been a lot of fun talking.
Too.
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
mate?
it's been a lot of fun. You bud.
No, I was just saying I was really excited about the conversation too. Chapo actually opened my well, not only mine but my partner's eyes into some things too, because I'm more the risk taker in the co-founding realm of our firm, but my partner is very conservative, and what was cool is we got off the phone with Chapo, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, bro, this is cool." So it seems to be on both sides.
That's awesome. Yeah, it just like we've been talking about what investors should expect from projects, like and especially if they can get it all done before the launch, from liquidity locking to being KYC to team vesting, like team token locking investing. There was also now something that our eyes were open to, especially when you made the comment that to Chapo that the whole hack with Pancake Swap was very just low grade, you know, could have been avoided. It's like, damn, like, you know, we need firms to actually take care of this, and that was just a case proven. That that's another layer of security for the investor and for the projects that is needed. And there was one other thing that I can't remember exactly. Also just something that we're going to be providing is due diligence. Just like not financial advice, but just a clearly transparent layout of information for the projects that opt in to get a report made through Assure. We want to just be able to find out, is there a burn function, is there a mint function, is there is it the like all the different things that you really should know before you jump into just buying or buying into a launch. And we seem like we're going to be able to really pull together a suite of security safety for the investor, which honestly will just make projects launch like crazy, because there's just trust. There's no when rug pull. It's like, what do you mean? These guys have like nailed every single thing that you possibly could do for safety, and we just love that. Seriously, what you do is not at all like even known by the investor that should be done, but we're going to raise awareness to investors.
Bingo. That
this is something to expect from projects, and we're going to help raise awareness to your industry, and just to general safety in the whole DeFi space, because people want gains. Well, you got to have better gains and actually secure your gains if your projects don't rug and they're always winning. So yeah,
I've learned that with that investor, more that they know, the better it is. The more comfortable they'll feel. A lot of times when it comes to the realm of security, we're easily hated, whether it's a corporation or an agency. There's that security guy, he's going to shut all my stuff down. Over here, this should benefit us. So that's one of the reasons we're actually excited about it, because the more the investor knows things that he didn't know. I mean, an example being is, a lot of times that we see these rugs, it's because the coder, overwhelmed by greed, decides to do whatever it is that he does. So a lot of that can be tracked down inside the code, looking at the contracts, looking at how they tie into the back end webs, the front end web server to the back end database to the pool. It's amazing what code will tell you, but that's kind of like the infrastructural and the application type of layers. People are at fault too, and the more that we explain to these investors that, hey, we're looking at this, we're looking at this, we're looking at this, not only in these areas, but we're also looking over in these areas. When he gets an understanding that, hey, not only are we securing the code, not only are we securing the servers, but we're actually taking a look at the cyber sides of the people. What are the devs doing? Could the devs possibly have code on an insecure laptop? Are they allowed to access a wireless over at Starbucks that's not encrypted and authenticated? Can I hop into that system? What happens if I get into that system? Does he have a copy of the code inside of there? That would be terrible. Does he, are the public keys, the private keys in there? So, I mean, depending on how we take care of this, we're going to document it, and we're going to end up showing the investor that, hey, we are taking a wholehearted look at security from end to end, and we're making sure your money's taken care of, so you can come put your money with us.
Yeah, this is not just an audit, like a solidity audit. This is
right, code audit.
The whole infrastructure that they're building in. It's a whole nother level, and it's incredible. I'm really quite excited.
As far as I know, this is unprecedented in the industry. Like you just don't see this.
I don't even think that people even understand that there are vulnerabilities in those areas. So then they don't expect it. And so it's part of us to be able to educate them, and then lead them into expectation. Because they're going to see the reward of projects that do these things, and they go, okay, we want this as well. Like, worst case, people just want these things because of money, because it's good for their investment. But at least really, it's going to position all of DeFi into a better place to be adopted by governments and whatnot. We're really doing God's work here, guys.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
What's funny too in it is I kind of put some of this together until I got to talk with my partner after Chapo helped us see some serious flaws in this industry. And we absolutely think we can help map to it. But it's a whole nother view of what I originally saw. I fell in love with the Enreach program, absolutely fell in love with it because of the KYC, because of the AML. I've got guys on our team that are so tied into AML. They've not only written the certification courses, they're teaching and directing them. So I've got guys that are in serious into blockchain. But the funny part about it is, what I noticed was with what Enreach is doing with making, and it sounds like what the genius, what I heard out of Chapo on the phone earlier was that if you can make an investor feel safe by showing him A, B, and C, they'll hop in. What I loved out of Enreach was just that. You see, I'm a bit of a risk taker. I'm getting my partner slowly into crypto. I've actually got him in a couple of coins now. I've been knee deep in this, but I'm also, human. So I've actually been burned once by our famous George over at IYF. But the gist of it is it helped me learn some things. Now, if I'm going to be able to bring some people into this, how can I do that? Well, Enreach is the one that solidified that. When I saw that, I'm like, oh my goodness. So if I can position myself properly, if I can position Enreach properly, this ecosystem here, and now Chapo, I've got friends. I mean, people. I'm successful. Look. I'm sitting on a bed here talking to guys, and I'm not out in a trench digging dirt. But I've got friends that are zillionaires. I mean, absolutely zillionaires. The thought of getting them to invest into this, that makes me excited. How can I get that to happen? Well, when I start to bridge the conventional world with all the investors in it, the guys that got the billions, if I could show them, hey, we can have a bridge between your fiat and our stable coins, and that can launch us into this DeFi space, and it's backed by saying, hey, we've already researched these guys, hence KYC. We've already done the audits on this coding, hence Solidity, Finance, and Certic, and all these other guys. But now we've also been able to do the cybersecurity side of the holistic approach to how to present that application, meaning the infrastructure, the people, the processes, the policies. That guy's going to say, okay, I feel a little bit better now. I see your certifications. I see your business model. Here's my money. Now we start getting these billionaires to dump in. People are going to get very wealthy.
Mm. Yeah.
That's right. And Mario, crypto trader, this is also to your point on sort of like how are we reaching bigger investors? Honestly, our crew here, we all have networks, and we found our way here on our own, and we got interested, and we got invested, and we got involved. And some of us just need to be able to offer some of our skills and get this project a little further along, and then we can introduce it with confidence and pride to our networks. There's a bunch of people that I intend to introduce RFI and the whole ecosystem to that are real players. You know what I mean? But there's a few pieces we need to get into place before I can honestly do that. And it sounds like Silver's in a very similar position. And it's awesome because he knows how to do it, he wants to do it, and he brings a critical skill that he needs employed before his network can actually take it seriously. So Silver, let us know every step of the way how we can empower you and how we can help bring your network to the table, because we're here for it, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it, man. You got a good team here, brother.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. It's all about all of us. You know what I mean? It's really cool to see you find your way here. It reminds us what we've really got going.
And
this reminds me of something.
Oh, sorry. Just quickly. This just ties all together with what Kash was saying. With I guess he dropped the name Harrington Capital, and like they are willing to engage with us because we are providing something that is going to be safe for them to bring a lot of money in. But the simplicity of that's just one example. It's it's very well going to set a precedent. And so we want to do this right. We need to do Assure right. We need to build that up properly, get the infrastructure right, set the policies, all of that, and get Silver and his firm on board, and then when we do get to a point where we are launching projects, then yeah, it's going to be but these people get to actually participate in the awesomeness of DeFi degen launches, you know, but it's not really degen because it's so safe.
That's right.
You know,
it's a really critical phase shift in the whole industry for us to help attain.
Yeah, because it's just like they can't really participate with the way that it currently is. It's not, especially not at an industrial level, because it's not going to look good on their books and to their stakeholders if they're investing their their money into things that just rug. Like
Mark Cuban isn't dropping his money in degen.
No, he'll buy NFTs. But yeah, it's just but once we create this safety, institutions can come in, very big investors that can come in. It's we're building something remarkable, guys. It's truly we're touching so many different levels. It's hard to quite articulate, and we also don't want to give away too much, just simply because we want to keep the competitive. We want to be so transparent with you, and we're also just human and excited. We want to share, but we also don't want to just let things spill open and people get ahead of us. Not that I think they can. Honestly, the connections that we have, what Enreach has done with 5 years worth of development, optimize. It's going to be very hard for people to really catch up. And if anything,
there's some stuff they can't just replicate.
Yeah, well, to be honest, they're designed themselves to just be a toolbox, right? So it's just it's no point in competing. It's just participate now. Like, if you want to be a part of this, just plug in. There's no point trying to be another Enreach. It's going to be a staple. And so yeah, anyway, it's exciting, guys. It all ends up we're talking to investors here, and I want to encourage you. This is going to be very good for our ecosystem, in my opinion.
Absolutely. That's pretty much what I wanted to touch on. And the interesting thing that I see happening with the strength of I want to use the term agency that this ecosystem holds within. I can see so many personal passions turn into projects because we have the technology, we have the funding, we have the people. We are going to be very well practiced at setting up franchise or decentralized, whatever you want to say. Case in point, looks like Silver 7 came in just as a stoked investor, and sounds like he's probably going to need a new LLC pretty soon for cyber security crypto business. That's awesome. I would like to see everybody go this route down to our new writer. Getting a book published, and I was joking with him the other day after his first paper. It came to me. I said something through the lines of, "Sounds like you have your notes on your first book. Building DeFi. Here we are." But I would read it.
Heck yeah. Well, that was a fun little tangent. Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one, man. We can probably start winding down here, yeah? Going on 2 hours?
15 minutes of intro, and yeah, so hour and 45.
Yeah, nice. I mean, if anyone has any last minute questions, we can answer them. Otherwise, one of the things I've noticed over the last week, we're having a lot of fun dropping into voice chats in our community Telegram channels. So if anybody has questions and you really want to just talk stuff out, please just ping one of us, and we're happy to start a voice chat with you and just sort of shoot the shit that way. It's been really organic. In fact, we've identified some of our best new organizers by getting into those sorts of conversations. So, please join us there. Even if you don't want to talk, it's nice to sit back and listen there too. It's been a lot of fun.
I'll see you guys there.
If we are wrapping up, then it's a good time to tell you guys that this week's Pope is available. I've just dropped a link. So jump into that Discord channel, get into the Pope Collectors channel. And then what you need to do, Andrew, we don't have it set up at the moment, do we, that they can just speak to the bot straight in that channel? They still have to DM them?
No, you still have to DM the POAP.
Yeah. So you'll see the POAP bot is just in there, and just right click on them, message. I'm going to do it right now. What is it? Gas pass.
Gas pass.
Heck yeah. There we go. It works,
Yeah,
guys. It's classy. It works.
It's super easy.
So jump in. These are limited time NFTs. They also gaslessly enter into your Ethereum wallet through some layer 2 solutions, which is very cool. And so, yeah, go and get your poop. Dubs, classic.
Yo, sorry guys, that took me way longer than I thought. I had a little bit of a family disaster.
Oh dear.
No worries, dude. Hope everything's okay. We're just winding down, bro.
We're just winding down. We did talk about Assure a little bit, but how about we go, hey guys, that's it. Now, Chopper, like, what if is there any, like, maybe Damo, if you want to close with whatever you want to close with, but then we can go, extra time. We can talk a little bit Assure and people can ask questions, and Chapo can do his awesome salesperson thing that he does.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's pretty simple on my end. I really appreciate everybody who's taken the time out to hang out with us today. Especially because we were a little off because of daylight savings time. So appreciate you guys hanging on a little later to jump on with us. We're always available in the chat. We love answering your questions. We love making you feel at home with us. If there's things you want to contribute, we want to make you feel seen, appreciated, and empowered. And if it's just questions that we can help answer for you, or so that we can help you go talk about it, awesome. We're here for it. Yeah, and we'll see you in the chats, and we'll see you next week here on the Weekly Reflection.
Heck yeah.
Thanks to Mouse and Andrew so much for helping me make this happen. Haydo, thanks for jumping on with us to talk about the Number Squad. Super cool what you guys are doing.
We'll
thanks for having me, dude. Yeah, totally, dude. It's been a lot of fun working with you for the last few days.
Yeah, I'm really excited for what you guys are gonna bring out of this. I'm really excited.
Yep, one of like 20 teams happening,
Yeah, bear in mind, patience is key with this one. The more and more I dive into it, the more and more I realize, how complex this can get if we really want it to. Yeah. So the thing is, like, you've got the block by block compounding. So I mean, if you really want to get that technical with it, I mean, it's never ending. But point is, I look forward to continuing to work with you guys, and thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much, mate.
It's a little
sweet, buddy.
What have we discovered? 2 secret, amazingly interesting projects that are going to be spun off from your work and the work you guys are doing. I see two products already.
Yeah, so I've got a couple things in mind, right? One would be that web app and integration with the dashboard. I would love to take part in pushing these numbers onto something that's actually usable. So really, just happy to help where I can. And as I've said before, I'm always up for learning more. So, I mean, and this kind of goes out to everybody else. A week ago, right? I started off, messaged you guys a couple weeks ago, really. But last week's reflection, I took timestamps down and just took general notes. Still wasn't sure exactly where I fit in this place. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but I know you guys have said many times, just step up, just get engaged, and that's what I did, and it really worked out for me. I feel comfortable where I am. We're working with new people, and it's all a lot of fun. So really, this goes out to anybody who's interested. Just take the first step and say hi.
Man, thanks for that. That's an awesome testimonial.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes me super happy to hear, man. That is awesome. I hope more people can say the same thing soon.
I hope so.
And one little One little shout out to Steve, who will probably be dropping some more of his own RFI as a gift in the community chat at some point this evening. So watch out for some frivolity and some craziness in there. If people want some free RFI, I'm sure he'll be happy to oblige.
With Hado's testimony, I just want to just say that, like, where you like, this is actually an opportunity for people to start rubbing shoulders with potential people who are going to be quite important with the future of the crypto industry. We are so early in this industry, and if you want any part of it in terms of actually career wise, like, I myself made a point to volunteer like crazy, because I wanted to work in the space. I wanted to connect with the right people, and just, you know, like, we're in an interesting space where you can sort of get all of a sudden thrown into this group where you're with some pretty influential people, and just simply just by accident, and so if you do, like I said, if you do want to end up having a career in the crypto industry, because careers are going to keep growing, like, there is going to be, the industries are going to keep growing. It's going to, like, we see this, like, going and touching, like every there's pretty much, like, every industry will get touched by crypto. And so even the industry that you're in now, that you're passionate now, the fact that you have a crypto edge, you could very well lead a team in maybe your company, to like the company that you're working for, to help start integrating crypto technologies. So any way that you can, that if you want to get in and you want to get an edge and skill up in this space, this is a great little ecosystem for us to, well, it's a pretty big ecosystem comparatively to other projects. So come and start working with people who are passionate about everything that's going on here, and it will serve your life. It really will.
Sweet.
Slowly.
Sweet. Well, yeah, why don't we go ahead and transition and let Chapter take the stage.
Hado,
What's up?
is that Wild Thornberries cartoon, dude, for your app?
Nigel?
It is Nigel.
My kids watched that when they were little, man.
I watched that when I was little.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Hey, I'm probably older than everybody here.
Finally, someone older than me.
Yeah,
awesome.
Good.
You no age discrimination here, 7.
Nope.
I hope
We love the
not,
gray
man.
hairs, man. We need you guys.
Yeah, go pepper, salt and pepper, baby.
Love it, dude. Silver Fox, Silver 7.
All right.
My wife, don't give my wife any more power, man.
Oh no.
All right. Well, thank you guys for the 30 people that were that have really stuck with us this whole time. There was a few more just throughout the whole thing, but I just simply think it's unbelievable that all you guys stick around and are hanging with us. Thank you so much. We really appreciate just being able to express ourselves, express the project in a format that's like this. I feel like it just brings so much life, and some of us, like myself, are verbal processors, so I actually get to articulate myself even better just in a platform like this than I normally would with text. That actually overwhelms me quite a bit. So yeah, I really do appreciate this platform and that you guys are sticking around. Like you guys are just simply amazing. So thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it, everybody.
Awesome. Well, let's transition, seamlessly into Ashore and any questions that you guys want to talk and ask about Ashore. And I guess maybe Chapo, do you want to just share? Like I've already done a fair bit of sharing that you've sort of missed out on, but I shared in my way. How about you sharing your way?
Sure. Sure. I'd be happy to. I think basically, you guys, the Assure brand is just that. It's a brand. It's a brand of trust and safety, and it's going to have products that are associated with Assure that are Assure branded, that represent safety in the industry and safety in the space. it's going to be interesting to see how it develops. It's super early right now. We took one offering that was in the Enreach toolbox, being the KYC platform that they have built, and we're focused on that right now. But there's a lot of opportunity here. This space is just so big, and there's so many needs right now in this space to legitimize it and to provide safety for investors, that it really could turn into something much, much larger than just a KYC platform. Damo mentioned a launch pad. It could be. Maybe it's not. It really just depends on how things develop. But as stage one or phase one, we're focused on KYC. And I think that that's an immediate market need right now that needs filled. Me as an influencer, I guess the way that this thing kind of all started was back last year. I was getting rugged just along with a whole bunch of other people because we were blindly sending money to anonymous people who nobody knew whether to trust or not. And that was really the only option we had. And I started getting blamed as an influencer, despite the fact that I did my due diligence as well as I could, being somewhat of an expert in the space. There still wasn't enough protections for investors. So at some point, you still had to roll the dice and hope for the best. And it became very tough for influencers in the space and promoters because we were the fall guys. It was like people blamed us. They didn't blame the people who just ran off with all the money. They blamed the people who promoted the projects because there was nobody left and we were the only ones left sitting there holding the bag, And it's not fair, but I mean, I understand everybody, when they lose money, they want somebody to point the finger at. And, the influencers are public figures who were supporting the project that ended up being, scams or rugs. And so I said, well, I think one of the things that I'm going to start requiring is that projects are either fully doxed or I'm going to KYC them. And that in and of itself isn't a great setup either. It helped, but ultimately I'm not a security guy. I shouldn't be handling sensitive data either. I mean, I'm in my house on a laptop right now. I don't have secure servers and stuff like that. And after I did that, I became a target for scammers too. And I got deep faked once. There just was there's a lot of challenges. I knew that there was a need here, but I wasn't the right one to fill it. And there wasn't any legitimate outfits that were compliant who were there to fill it. So it was a temporary stopgap. I got myself in some hot water trying to help and trying to make the space safer. And whenever I actually saw how Enreach was launching and how everybody had to be KYC'd, and then I realized I had this eureka moment that Kash and Enreach, our partner, actually has a KYC platform already, and it's actually legitimate, that's compliant, and it's banking regulated. And I'm like, this is the right answer, is we need a platform like this in the space to provide the KYC for projects and investor reassurance that I've been seeking all this time. And that's really how Assure was born. I'm working with Brad and I'm working with Steve, a couple members of the Reflect community here, as really a test case to show how you can use the tools that Enreach has brought to us, which go way beyond just KYC, guys. Enreach has an insane toolbox to pretty much build whatever you want to build. But Steve and I had bounced around the concept of a KYC service for 2 or 3 months, and then we realized that now we have the toolbox. And the reason we didn't do it 2 months ago is because we didn't have the toolbox. But now that Enreach is here, we have it. And so anyways, Assure is starting as a KYC platform. We'd really like to build it out to a point where it becomes an expectation of investors that if they're going to invest in a pre-sale, they want to see the owners and devs KYC'd or doxed. And everybody recognizes that Assure does KYC better than everybody else in the space. And that's what we want to represent. I think I was talking to Brad the other day. It's kind of interesting. Like, I don't know everybody on the call, like when you got into this space, but if you got into this space in the last 3 months, you might actually be surprised how much better it is right now than it was 6 months ago. Like 6 months ago, people in pre-sales, like every single one of them was through bounce or just direct wallet contributions. And it's hard to imagine that's what the reality was, but it was like, okay, guys, we're gonna raise 2,000 ETH. Just send your ETH to this wallet address. It's like, I know I'm a non, and I know like I could run away, but just trust me, I'm not going to. Everything's okay. Just send the 2,000 ETH, and people did it. And it was like there was 2,000 ETH raises on just a wallet address with like 0 investor protections, and it was like that every day. Every day you woke up, there was another 2,000 ETH raise. No investor protection whatsoever. And half of them rugged. And it was like, I remember one guy commented one time, I was in a Telegram chat, and was like, we were all waiting. We were waiting for the listing after like 800 ETH raise. Everybody was waiting, and we were like, "What's going on? Why aren't they listing?" Everybody was like, "Are they just going to delete the Telegram? Like, when's the Telegram and Twitter account just going to get deleted so we know we rug?" And some guy came in the chat, and he was like, "God damn it, just rug already so I can go to bed." Like, it just was such an indicator of how ridiculously unsafe and terrible the space was. Like, people expected to be rugged sometimes. Like, they knew that it was a very strong potential they were going to get rugged, and they threw their money in there anyway because there was no better option. And then launchpads started, and automatic liquidity locking platforms started, and investors started really demanding that people were a little bit safer. And it's gotten a lot better, honestly, in the last 3 to 6 months. There's less rugs now than there was. Binance Smart Chain reminds me a lot of how Uniswap was before. And if you look now, there's a lot of launch pads that are launching on Binance Smart Chain right now to try to clean up Binance Smart Chain because the percentage of rugs is just so high. The infrastructure has been built a little bit better out on the ETH network now for DeFi than it is on Binance Smart Chain. So I think we're going to see a lot of the same development over there. But Assure is really intended to be like a staple of safety for investors. It's all about protecting investors. So KYC is one way, but just KYCing a dev doesn't protect investors fully. I think the ultimate goal here is to have the Assure brand be like a full suite of investor protections where a project can come to Assure and we can set them up pretty much start to finish, connect them with all of the reputable people and organizations who can make sure that their launch is safe for the investors and give the investors validation that all kind of those checks and balances are in place. So contract audits, liquidity locking, team token locking, the KYC platform, better content and documentation so investors can make good, wise investment decisions, even security audits potentially, things like that. I think that's really the big vision goal. But we're focused. We want to start small. We're going to aim with the KYC platform first because we feel like that's the biggest market need and very underserved right now and can probably make the biggest impact as far as reducing risk for investors. And we already have the platform built. Kash has it. So we're kind of ready to go. I think we're going to be ready, or hopefully ready to go to market next week and go live. So we're really excited about it. We're kind of going full steam ahead. Again, I know I said this earlier, but I'm waking up every day with a fire under my ass and a passion in my belly to go make this thing happen. And at the end of the day, this is all going to be affiliated with RFI. So, we've got the support of the Reflect community, which is pretty cool too.
Yeah. Crypto Trader just said the fact that there is so much competition in the launchpad sector means that we need to offer more protections than any other platform. Well, something that we are actually doing, and this is like, it just comes from Kash actually said it really well. I can't remember the exact quote, but when he referred to Stripe and how they does anyone remember exactly how he framed that or what the quote was? I don't know if anyone's there, but basically it was just like they're not trying to overwhelm the industry and capitalize completely on it for themselves. They're actually trying to like empower the industry, and that's what we're doing. We're actually making partnerships with other launchpads, and we're giving them we're giving them the power to create safety within their own launchpad. We're going to be like our vision is that we are the staple, like, centerpiece of safety for DeFi, and that we're going to it's going to be a standard expectation, just like we used to, the development for safety in DeFi, even over the past few months, yes, like Chapo said, it started with just literally us just throwing money in just like contracts that were just thrown on bounce at best. And then it further developed into, well, wait, actually, people are rugging. We need to lock liquidity. So platforms were made to lock liquidity. And then all of a sudden, once the platform was there, and this trend that happens, is that that money just is going to keep flowing into DeFi at the moment. It just is. And regardless of how safe it is, there still just seems to be enough gains to be had that there's still just money just flowing. And you'd like to think that the community of DeFi would go, we're not going to invest in this pre-sale until you do this. And to be honest, that's just not what happens, because as soon as one person goes, screw that, I'm risking it for the biscuit and I'm going to invest in this thing earlier, they're the one that makes the gains if it was a good investment. So then people go, oh, screw it, we're not going to set this standard. So us as platform makers actually have to set the infrastructure to make the investors just realize that, it's already made for us now. So when liquidity locking happened and projects go, we want the edge over and people don't like rugs, even though they're investing in rugs, they don't obviously like them. We're going to get the edge and we're going to liquidity lock. And so what we're building now is that we can't ask the community, DeFi community to ask for KYCs and make sure that they demand KYCs when there's not a good KYC platform out there at the moment. So we're building the platform. We're going to launch pads, we're going to projects, and we're going, this is going to give you an edge for investors to feel even safer. And then all of a sudden it's going to become a staple. It's going to become something that people expect. Safety as a service. Yes.
Yeah, it's great. I think you're right. Basically, it's a great point that there's so much competition in the launchpad sector. I was surprised at the list of launchpads I was able to come up with, and there's a million launchpads that are coming out right now too. It's a great business model or tokenized model with the amount of projects that are launching. So you say that we need to offer more protections than any other platform. I would say that you don't necessarily need to offer more protections. You need differentiated protections that ultimately lead to better protection for investors. More isn't better necessarily, but offering unique value props to investors is extremely important. And I think when you say you offer more protections, there's a lot of launch pads, almost no launch pads are really offering audits, for instance, but there's a lot of auditing that's available externally. So that's not necessarily important for launch pads. There's a lot of people that offer liquidity locking and team locking and that sort of thing. You don't have to necessarily offer that because other people are, but you need to differentiate yourself. I think the point here is that you have to differentiate yourself. And the way that we're differentiating ourselves is, number one, through our KYC process. Nobody else is doing this right now in the DeFi space. They're not doing KYC right. There's other people offering KYC. I mean, Dex Tools is doing it, and there's some other people who are offering it, but they're not doing it with a GDPR compliant process that's been geared specifically for the space, nor are they offering compliant certificates that are blockchain validated via NFTs. And that's going to be a differentiator for us. Nobody else is going to provide what we're providing. The information flow for pre-sales is going to be a highly differentiated report that nobody else is going to do. And most truthfully, nobody else really wants to do it, but we're going to do it because it's going to differentiate us. Now, that's before we even create a launchpad. I don't even know whether we're going to be a launchpad, guys, to be honest with you. Like, it's very ambitious to think that you're going to differentiate yourself as a KYC service, then differentiate yourself by being this report creator like Morningstar, and then offer security audits, and then eventually become the most amazing launchpad in the space. I mean, that sounds great, but right now, all we really want to do is become the best KYC service in the space, because that will differentiate us, it will create our brand, and it'll allow us to potentially expand to other value-added services. And if we're successful in doing A, B, and C, then it sets you up where you're already differentiated. And then if you want to fire up a launch pad, you're already trusted. So you've already differentiated yourself and people will want to come to you. And that's kind of the model that we're following, is if we get to that point of being a launch pad, then it's not going to be like, hey, we have to differentiate ourselves because there's so many other launch pads. We'd create a launch pad because we're already so differentiated that the launch pad will be successful because we're differentiated from what we're already offering, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. If I may touch on something real quick from the project customer experience, launching coins and shopping for a said launch pad, the world out there is not perfect by any means. It is a task and a major headache to find the right one, and then find the right team behind that launch pad to give you the services you need for your specific business. It's not fun at all. And there are numerous launch pads, and not all of them are good for the user experience either. And some of them are better than others, and some of them are pretty good. But there's a lot of room for improvement in that space in general. That's all I wanted to say.
Hey Damo, I think, are you typing in stuff? Yeah, there we go. Sweet. Thanks, bro. Silva, I don't know if you're still around and if you wanted to speak into this again. Chapo, we already chatted with Silva a fair bit just about just their firm and how exciting it is to bring a layer of safety and assurance. I love that assurance is actually a natural word that I want to use, and it's and it's not, I'm not even trying to brand us like product placement, but like it's not even a thought. It wasn't even a thought in my mind until you brought it up to even this morning to me, that we do need this type of security that Silver is bringing to the table. So we did talk about that, and it was pretty exciting. I don't know if you had anything else that you wanted to say on top of that as well.
Oh, I am definitely here. So what exactly is the question? I'd love to answer anything you got in your head.
Oh no, I was sort of also asking just Chapo what he, I'd like him to sort of just bubble over as well with you about, I guess, about what you guys chatted about, and if there was anything to sort of to share from Chapo's
I'll follow his lead.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's just like a preliminary conversation, but at the end of the day, Seven is a cybersecurity guy, and I think cybersecurity and security and safety and project safety and investor safety, it's all the same theme. It's making the space safer, and there's so many elements that go to the overall cryptocurrency space, or the landscape for investment being safe and for investors being protected. And right now, all those pieces to the puzzle just aren't there. 6 months ago, they weren't there at all. They were vacant. Like, there was auditors in the space, but nobody really even demanded code audits. So there was honestly, I laugh sometimes thinking 6 months ago, there was infinite minting happening all the time too. And now at least people have wised up a little bit, and they're like, here's how to look for a mint function in code. And there's websites dedicated to just make sure that there's no mint function. And people are demanding audits and want audits. And they associate audits with things being safe. And it's okay, investors have gotten a little bit smarter. That's great. And then there's been so many rugs where liquidity's just been pulled and it's gone. And now people have gotten wised up, and now they're people know now what liquidity is and what locked liquidity means. Like, investors are getting smarter because of all. Once you lose thousands of dollars due to something, you tend to go research and figure out how you lost $1,000 so it doesn't happen again. You know, and investors are getting smarter because of how much money is being lost from all of these unsafe issues with our space. But there's still these huge gaps. And we were just talking about like Pancake Swap. Seven and I were just talking about this issue with Pancake Swap, how Pancake Swap got hacked. And I'm sure millions of dollars were lost from the seed phrases that were phished from this hack. But according to like Seven and his partner, this was like, what'd you say, first grade level shit?
I was going with third grade. Johnny said he said first.
Okay. Either way, we're talking about elementary type security. Like, these are not things that should happen to billion-dollar protocols. Is I think the general consensus. And the reason why it's happening, or the reason why people are getting hacked, and there's these DDoS attacks or whatever. I'm talking on my ass now with acronyms that I don't even know what they mean. But you know, the reason why these kind of things are happening is all because their proper security reviews aren't being done. And I personally think that a big reason why proper security reviews aren't being done isn't necessarily because project owners don't want to be secure. It's because there isn't an easy process that exists right now for a security review to be done. Let's just say, like, I'll give you an example here, and I think it kind of, this is what goes through my head. Let's just say that you didn't know any auditing companies, and there was no auditors that were specifically geared towards auditing DeFi projects or like Solidity code. And you were a dev and you wrote some Solidity code and you were like, man, I should really have somebody look over this and audit it. And you're like, wow, I'm gonna have to talk to somebody who's like an auditing firm, I guess. So you start Googling like auditing companies, and you get all sorts of things about, you know, cybersecurity auditing and this sort of thing. You've got to call them up and say like, hey guys, would you audit my Solidity code? And they're like, okay, well, what's it designed for? And then you say, well, it's this cryptocurrency, and these guys aren't used to auditing it. So they're like, well, let me take a look at it. And what exactly are you looking for? And it's this very painful process to even get to the point where you can just pay them to go, right? This dev has a million things that they want to do in order to launch a project. All they want to do is contact somebody, say, hey, can you audit it? They say, yes, it's going to be $8,000. They pay the $8,000, and then, you know, a week later they get their audit report. That's what they want. It's a very easy process. And if it's not easy, people tend to not to do it because they've got too many other things to do. And auditing now is easy because there's like people like Solidity.finance and Certic and QuantStamp and SlowMist and these people who are in the space who are dedicated and have a very well-defined process and marketed towards this space that they're easy to get a hold of. Like Certic has people who are active in Telegram and on Twitter and the social media channels that everybody in this space use. And they're set up to accept cryptocurrency and not credit cards, right? Like traditional auditing firms outside this space, you call them up and you're going to be like, hey guys, like, can I get an audit on my code? And they're gonna be like, sure. Do you want to pay via credit card? And they're like, no, I'm an anonymous dev. I'm not giving you a credit card. Like, absolutely not. And then they're like, oh, well, how would you like to pay then? And you're like, well, I'd like to send you ETH. I'm in the DeFi space. And they're like, well, we don't accept ETH. And it would be very painful, right? And so nobody would do it. And so you just end up with a whole bunch of unaudited code. Well, the KYC piece right now is a little bit like that. Like, it's very painful because KYC is a part of traditional business, but there hasn't been real KYC businesses that have targeted this market specifically and have a process outlined to make it easy for devs to get KYC'd, for projects to get KYC'd, to get the marketing content that they need for their investors, for investors in the space to validate that it's been done, and for it to really serve the purpose, and for them to accept crypto and all that kind of stuff. And that's what Assure is going to do. there's a really strong market need for it, and we're going to make it easy for people so that there's no excuse anymore for not, just like there's no excuse to not get an audit on your code now because it's so readily available and easy, and there's people who are sitting there waiting, ready to do it. That's what we want to do for KYC. We want to make it easy as hell for people to do so that community members can go to their project leaders and basically say, there is no reason that you haven't done this already. You know, it's $3,000. Here's the person to contact. It takes 24-hour turnaround. Go get it done. Otherwise, you're a scammer. If you're not going to spend the $3,000, you're a scammer. And you know, Seven and I were talking a little bit. I feel like security reviews are kind of the same thing right now. Like if a project owner or dev wants to get a security review done on their project or protocol, I feel like that process is very poorly defined. The scope of work of what a security review for a DeFi project entails is not very well outlined anywhere. There isn't anybody who's marketing that type of security review specifically for new projects launching. And there's not a very well-defined cost structure in place so people know how to allocate a budget for it. So our conversation just kind of led us to, we want to make the space safer. I think security reviews or security audits are one way that we could make the space safer. Seven and his partner specialize in cybersecurity and do security reviews for people. And maybe there's an opportunity here where we can help to bridge that gap between what they offer and what the market needs and create a structure that's in place that is the easy, Assure can become the easy button for project owners where they come to us, they push the easy button and we say, what do you want, pal? You're launching a project. How do you want to validate your project and make it legitimate? You want the KYC? Great, we'll give it to you. You want the security review? Great, we'll give it to you. You want an auditor? We're partnered with a bunch of auditors. That's cool, we can get you that done too. If you want to do the liquidity locking and stuff, here are some launch pads we're partnered with that do liquidity locking and handle the team tokens, and you can do that too. And we're essentially the easy button for devs so that launches that launches that come through Assure have a full, we become like the toolbox of safety almost for owners, for project owners and devs. So they come to us and we're a one-stop shop of investor protection. That's the real vision. And it's going to take a while to build that out, but it starts with KYC because that's the highly differentiated offering. And eventually we become a one-stop shop of safety. And that's our brand, is that safety brand. And if a project owner hasn't gone through Assure, then people have to start questioning whether they've done A, B, C, D, and E. Whereas if they've gone through Assure, it's super easy for investors to validate that all that stuff has been done, or if it all hasn't been done, what pieces of it have been done and which pieces of it haven't been done, and they can make an informed investment decision.
Amen, mate.
Absolutely.
We need to make you the Kleenex of the industry.
Yeah. But I don't want people blowing their nose in me, though.
No. More in the idea that you're the household name. Everybody calls their product Kleenex.
Yeah.
That's the goal. It's a brand. We want brand recognition in the industry. We want to start small, but we want people to affiliate the Assure name with safety in every way.
Absolutely.
And so part of that, I guess, is that we'd like to encourage you that are here to join the Assure Telegram that I've just chucked in the chat. And just stay up to date with what we're doing. This is very much like, it's going to become truly powerful when this is a voice that comes from the bottom up, but it does need to be built from the top as well. And like I was saying before, the community just simply will put themselves in danger until someone creates a life raft for them. They just will. They're just, it's like, yeah, degens will be degens. And so we just want to create safety for them, but it is we need to create awareness, and it's already pretty sweet. We've already got like 100 or so people in our Telegram, but we also, like, when you guys are going and you're in Infinity Gains and you're in your shield groups and you're also jumping into new new projects that are launching, it's like once we have our service up and running, we want people to be like jumping into those and saying, all right, like go get your KYC, guys. Like, you're about to launch, sweet, that's fine, but KYC first. We need the KYC, and if the community asks for it, the devs will be backed into a corner, and they will. Like, it's affordable and it's going to provide safety. And if they're not willing to do it, well, then you know what they're probably up to, and then you just stay away. So yeah. Anyway, I think that's
a quick one for.
Oh, you go.
I'm just curious, with all the advisor roles that he's done, have you considered a certificate for the business plan itself review? As many projects as I've seen go ahead and launch and fail at execution. Is that something that crossed your mind as something you can incorporate down the road?
Sorry, who are you speaking to?
Chapo. I've lost him.
You know, I'm a business guy at heart, Mouse. I like making money. I think there's a couple things that we could offer and connect with people. At the end of the day, like Assure is almost like a consultant. We're a Salesforce, but we're a consultant for projects. We've got to be careful about what's under the Assure brand and what's not, because business consultation and tokenomics consultation and marketing or management consults and that sort of thing doesn't really fall under the Assure umbrella. But with that said, I think that there can absolutely be another business that's spun up or another brand that's spun up that is a marketing consultation company that we are affiliated with, that we can help projects effectively market. And there can be a management consultation or a tokenomics consultation type management offering also that we can connect projects with. And Assure can be a connector, you know, of different people offering different things that are all beneficial to projects. But the Assure brand really is all about safety, and I don't see giving projects guidance on tokenomics and the way that they manage their social media accounts and stuff like that. Like, there's a whole bunch that we have to offer at the end of the day, but I don't really necessarily see that as like the safety element that we're trying to represent.
Understood.
That actually sounds like something that that Steve Nakatomi has been dreaming up. So maybe when things are, when he's not busy building this business with us, he might actually start his own firm as well in that, because he's quite good at that. He is already actually in certain capacities helping projects with their launches and with how they're marketing and their strategy and all that. So yeah, that's something that Steve will probably we'll share. You know, our ecosystem is amazing. We have amazing people in it that are so skilled.
Yeah, we've got just a ton of talent. I mean, and that's what's cool. I think at the end of the day, whatever a project needs, one of the reasons why it can be a launch pad eventually is because whatever a project needs, we've got people to support them in executing, whether it's some people to crunch numbers or graphic designers or NFT artists or marketing consultation, promotion. I mean, we've got it all, guys. Like, if we fail here in the Reflect ecosystem of creating something of massive value, we can all just stare in the mirror, because we have it all here already. We have everything we need. We've got all the people, we've got financial resources, we've got, you know, a community, we have very highly differentiated technology. You know, we were the first to market here. We've got we've got integrations with other people that are connected and we have a whole toolbox now to build. So like, there's literally like nothing holding us back. We've got a whole bunch of large holders that are committed, who are funding the project, which with hundreds of thousands of dollars right now. Like, if we fuck this up, it's on us, guys. I mean, I'll be really honest with you. Like, if we can't execute here, this isn't on me. It's not on Mouse. It's not on Brad. It's just on all of us. Like, we fucked it up. The world is our oyster right now. We are in a bull run with a highly differentiated product, with a ton of talented people around us, and all the funding and all the toolbox we need. So I don't know what else to say other than we got to figure out what we want to do and empower everybody to go make it happen. Everybody can do their own thing. I'm pumped about Assure. I hope everybody else finds their passion and finds something where they could ultimately drive value to RFI. But yeah, and it's cool. We've got it all, and letting people tap into what we have is something that is of great value to them, and we can monetize. So kind of to that point, whether we would be willing to connect them with our resources, I kind of think it depends on what they're willing to do for us, right? And that's why ultimately, if Assure becomes a launch pad down the road, we could have pretty big asks of projects because of how much value we'd be bringing to them. It's like, it no longer becomes, please pair with RFI, please buy a stake in RFI. You know, it becomes like, listen, if you want all of this value, that's totally fine. Just, you know, take half your raise and buy RFI with it, and lock half your raise against RFI and pump our price, and we'll give you all the value that you're asking for. And move on to the next one.
Yep.
And just keep going, rinse and repeat.
It's not even a tough sell to do that, because they can lock up their value in RFI, send it over to Enreach, stake and leverage it. They wouldn't have even lost anything. Or they can put it into a UBI.
That's a good point.
They can put it into a UBI treasury as we click, and they have another instance that they can seed and have their team funded for eternity. We have the technology available right now. What do we want to do with it? Like I kept laughing at my friend Sunday. I said, well, now what the fuck I'm going to do? All my dreams have come true. Everything. Great. I'm glad to be here, guys.
That's awesome.
Guys, I got a jet. Good talking to you all. I'm excited about what we're all doing. Thank you for all the efforts. You all are awesome.
Thanks, mate. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I was going to wrap up. So yep, see you, mate. And yeah, we'll close it off there. I wanted to just give you, just the you that are here, just one last link. Another project that's being developed by a community member, Cyborg, and I don't know his partner's name or Telegram name, but Dexbox is actually a really cool, impressive platform that they're building. It's just it's so thematic to the blockchain ecosystem in just the way that it works. It feels, it looks great, and it's basically going to be he had a word for how he described it. If you guys want to pitch in on how to sell this thing, but I did want to just say, like, I think it will be really cool. Well, I don't know. I'm interested what you guys think, to have Cyborg on to talk about their platform. You know, this is just another part of our ecosystem.
I would love that personally.
Yeah, I think
it'd be awesome.
I want to give more examples to our community of
totally.
Just how to, like, building out this ecosystem doesn't even necessarily need to, like, the ecosystem is the people, it is the token as well, but like this, like, you know, this actually has nothing to do with the actual token, but he is giving us a discounted rate to be able to get some of the blocks, which is super nice.
Infrastructure, man. It's infrastructure.
Yes.
Every touch point that people need to get in, out, navigate between this industry and this ecosystem is necessary infrastructure that can and sometimes will have to come from us, just like up and out of the community. And that's something like what Cyborg's bringing to the table. And it's just like when Hato and Rust jump into a chat and all of a sudden we have a numbers group making a calculator. It was just like emergent from people kicking it, talking, and realizing we have a need and an ability to fill it.
Yep. I am hopefully showing this on stream now. Yeah, I am. So this is, you can't see it fully, but this is what the website looks like, and you can this is RFI Jesus. and this is to do with Reflect Finance, and each one of these spots like refers to an NFT that they have minted. So this is an NFT platform. And I just want to say, guys, there is actually, like, if this thing kicks off, if this thing kicks off, there is a business opportunity here for you to be able to rent space on this front page right here. I really like. I'm buying some, just personally. I'm buying some because I want to support our community.
Clever.
But I also do think that it's a place that there could even just be an opportunity to be able to rent out a block to people that want to get their face on here. And I don't know, I just want to I'm here for the tech guys, but I'm also here to to also see how this could be monetized. And I made sure I asked Cyborg, I was like, Cyborg, once you all of these NFTs are sold, because I'm just sure it will happen, how are you going to make money? And then I was like, well, there is like obviously the rareable, that the NFTs when they get traded and on a secondary market, if you have a creator fee, you can then, as long as you keep developing that front page and making it even better, it's just going to create that secondary market's going to be thriving because people are going to want to get in on that, and you're just going to get a piece of every transaction of those NFTs. And so he said that's what's happening.
This could be a real phenomenon. It's real estate. Like some people are going to want specific places on the page and even specific shapes, and they're going to be in a situation of having to negotiate for those squares, like maybe even trading them for squares on other parts of the board to try to like make the shape they need to make for something they want to put up on the screen.
So the way that this works, from what I understand, is that it randomly generates where everything is placed. So it is unbiased
upon loading. So like,
yes,
if you clicked reload the page, it would be in a different layout.
So I don't think it's implemented yet, or maybe it is, but because it's not filled out yet, it's not showing it. But that is the plan. Is every reload, it's showing. Oh, sorry, I heard myself then. Yeah, it's scrambling it up. That's a good way to put it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but it's still.
It'd be cool if you could, like, a point of monetization would be to allow people to pay extra to have a temporary lock in a prominent spot on the screen, but it'd be temporary and it would cost extra.
That's right. Well, they can do it. They just need to make sure they hold at least at least a few blocks for them to own, so that because if they sell every single block, then they can't take. I guess they could create a couple more rows.
What's the URL?
They could buy them on the market, right? Just like anybody else.
Yeah.
That's it.
What's the URL, guys?
Dex, DEX, BLOX or CKS. I think it's BLOX, dexblocks.io.
Yeah, it's how you think you spell it. I'll send the link in the Clubhouse chat.
Coolness.
I haven't saved.
It's super sweet, and the fact that it's community generated business, that's perfect. We absolutely, like, for 0.3 ETH, we can forever have a 6 block. That's fine. That's great. It's worth a punt.
Well, that's our discount. It's
I know that's exactly what I'm saying. Like we can have forever a 6 block for 0.3 ETH. Let's get it. And let's support one of our family members, and maybe even have just purchased for a song some really valuable advertising space forever.
So I think you can see it on stream now as well. That there we go, on stream. This is their Rarible website, and so you're looking at, if you want to buy 2 blocks, it's 0.2 ETH. You want to get 4 blocks, 0.5 ETH. If you want to get 6 blocks, it's 0.8 ETH. And
nice, great discount.
Yes, we got a good discount. And if
really,
you want
really
12
kind.
blocks, then it's 1.5 ETH. So yeah, get at it, guys. Like, go and and the 12 blocks, there's only 5 of them. So I love this. There is scarcity in the greater blocks. It's
Now this is something that I would love to see us maybe punt to our community. Like, maybe we vote in the multi-sig to put up half of the funds for this, and then we get the community to put up other funds. And when we do that, I'll be like the first one to be like, yo, I got $50 worth on this. Like, hell yes, Cyborg, you're awesome. And get a stream going of community members giving other community members money to do things and support each other. That's an energy flow I really want to cultivate that we haven't done yet, right? Part of the shift from looking at a certain person and like a top-down structure for leadership is we start looking to and empowering each other directly.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'd like to do that, and on other potential spends as well. Is just do like someone throws up a few bucks, stone soup, sees if anyone else throws down.
Yeah, 100%. But you know, this is just a little highlight I wanted to do, but I reckon that we can get Cyborg and on to chat about it. And to be honest, I feel like these guys have a knack for this. They've designed this in a very good way. It looks good. It feels good. Their branding on Rarible, I think they're gonna like. This is very much a branding business. Here. They do have something. Yep. I automatically when Cyborg threw this into our chat like a while ago, we went bonkers about it. We were like, this is awesome. Like this,
I know.
Like, this just needs to just to get that snowball going. Once the snowball's going and it becomes just a part of where, you know, if you want to get seen in this is just another place to get seen. Yes, you can trend on Dex tools, but you can also get on Dex blocks. You know, and so I think it's pretty dang sweet. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll support, you know, big time.
All right, well, this has been a long stream, so I think it is a good time to close it. Thank you everyone that has been here with us this whole time. And yeah, we will we'll be in the community chat as per usual, probably on our TG as well. Our TG voice chat as well, because that's been pumping.
How many are still on with us right now? I went for a walk, so I don't have my Twitch open.
3.
How many?
Sorry.
1, 20. Everybody's leaving. He said goodbye again.
Yeah.
The
People
third
saying
time.
goodbye.
I think everybody's leaving.
No, good.
Yeah, I was just curious how many people made it to the end.
Yeah, I think there was like 20 or something. Yeah.
Nice, man.
Hit Sugar. You as a so streamer or content creator, you could put your face on there and it benefits you in a way beyond just holding your tokens. Yes, that's exactly right. You can put your face there so people can be able to click on your block and go, and it'll have your profile. It's really cool. They can do a lot of stuff on it. And then once there is let's say that once you've just gotten what you want out of it, you can just resell that NFT. It's just so beautiful. I love crypto. Heck yeah. All right, we are calling this off in 3, 2, 1. Bye.
No, don't go.